world's toughest sport to come to America's toughest city. Rugby rocks Philadelphia. For 2 days of nonstop action, parties, and concerts, don't miss Philly's biggest sports and music festival of the summer. The Collegiate Rugby Championship coming to PPL Park. Buy tickets now at USA7scrc.com.
Cirque du Soleil comes to the greater Philadelphia area with its one-of-a-kind Big Top experience. You're invited to embark on mankind's fascinating journey through stunning acrobatics and visual effects that'll leave you breathless. Totem from Cirque du Soleil, presented by Visa Signature, opens May 30th under the Big Top at Camden Waterfront. Tickets at cirquedusoleil.com.
Wings fans, I'm Leonard Lundy of 1-800-LUNDY Law. To keep you safe, there are tough laws against drinking and driving. A violation could mean loss of your driver's license, arrest, and even jail time. So just remember this: too many cold ones can put you on ice.
Anyone who uses objectionable or undesirable language or consumes alcoholic beverages not legally sold inside the arena, or who throws anything onto the playing surface or at any player, official, or other spectator shall be subject to immediate ejection from the premises in addition to any other remedy, fine, or arrest as may be provided by law. The National Lacrosse League reminds all fans that objects may leave the playing surface, so please be alert at all times. Back pain, sports-related injury, injured at work. Does this sound like you? See your doctor and ask for NovaCare as the exclusive.
You're listening to Wings All Access right here on NLL.com.
Week 14 is in the books, and we welcome you to another episode of Wings All Access here on NLL Radio. Hi, everybody. Dave Walls here, play-by-play man for the Philadelphia Wings. And next to me, producer extraordinaire, John Barger.
Time to get that monkey off our back, huh?
I tell you what, I'm feeling about 10 pounds lighter right now. The weight has been lifted.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We are joined by the floodlights at the Wells Fargo Center right now, by the way. So hopefully we can minimize that. But, just our other guest this evening.
It's called ambiance, John. That's what they tell me when they seat me in the back of the restaurant over by the kitchen. That's I don't know what they're trying to tell me. But we've got a lot to talk about. A very busy Week 14 for the Wings. A doubleheader that certainly... this is a term I've used a lot in this show, and I apologize for keep reusing it because people even on Twitter at Wings All Access like, stop saying it. But this has really been a roller coaster of a weekend. I mean, we had every emotion you could possibly want of just crushing defeat again, and then just this wave of emotion and something we haven't heard much of here in the Wells Fargo Center, cheering. There's been a lot of it today.
Yeah, it's been what a fantastic game it was. Today, not so much Saturday night, but we'll get into that as well. But an outstanding performance pretty much from front to back. Really kept in with the Swarm today and really showed guts. And I told you last week, desperation over confidence. You could smell it and you could see it tonight, and it was great.
Let's go ahead, John, and let's break down Week 14 for the Wings. First of all, the CBS Sports Network national coverage started on Saturday as the Wings went up to Rochester. Now, it should be noted that Mr. John Barchard, to my left-hand side, I tell you what, the man's desperate for some Cheez-Its in the picks, and he went with the Nighthawks. But you know what? It ended up working out, John.
Gosh, I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to work out at all, but we'll break down the game here. I just couldn't understand it was such a weird. It wasn't even a tale of two halves. It was just a tale of one quarter. Everything kind of seemed so flat. Rochester kind of took control early and didn't really let go.
Well, I tell you what, John, the first 8+ minutes was very tight with both goaltenders coming up with Sports Center quality highlight saves with both Brandon Miller and Matt Vince. And I tell you what, if there's one goaltender in the league who could really show up Brandon Miller, it is Matt Vince. He has been an MVP-type goaltender all year, and he really put the Wings in place. John, why don't you walk us through the score sheet a little bit and tell us what happened?
Well, starting out in the first quarter there, you had Micah Kersey with an assist from Cody Jameson there at the 8:43 mark right in the first quarter. Kevin Crawley answers right back from Brandon Mundorf, and Paul Rabel assist to tie it up at 1. and you're thinking right now, okay, we're in it. We're doing our thing.
Right.
And
it was a good goal too by Crowley, as they really needed an equalizer, and they got one just 26 seconds later. So 1-1, and then the last 5 minutes. Again, we've been talking about lapses. Coach Meridian has been talking about it, where whether it's been on offense or defense, just for whatever reason, it's like the game gets away from them, and just that quickly, Rochester fires back.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they regained control pretty much at the end of the first quarter there. Joe McCready chiming in, and then Jimmy Purvis coming late at 13:31 to make it a 3-1 game after the quarter. And, after this, though, you're still thinking, okay, same old deal. We're down. We're going to come back at some point to make it a closer game. It's just, when is that going to come? And we weren't sure if it was going to come ever going into the second quarter.
Yeah, and there was a lot of unexpected play on both sides as well. For instance, John, we hadn't even talked about the big penalties that came up at 8:19. Brandon Francis, your boy.
That's right. I called. I said, activate him, Johnny, and that's what he did.
Well, I tell you what, no sooner does Brandon Francis get on the field than he goes to the penalty box.
Yeah.
He and Paul Dawson get tied up with each other now. Unfortunately, due to the angle CBS Sports Network had, we didn't really get a good, clear look as to what was going on. But Francis and Paul Dawson, the former wing, they both go off for roughing minors, 2 minutes. Francis got an unsportsmanlike, he got a 2 and a 10, so he was basically out for most of the first half. And then Dawson got a 10 as well, but on his way to the box, it appeared like he might have been jawing with the official. Boom! And they have actually adjusted the score sheet yesterday. It was called a match penalty. Now it's just called an additional game misconduct. But whatever the case, actually, you know what? It's considered a match because he got 2 misconducts. Boom, Paul Dawson out of there. That's a big, big boy in the middle of the Rochester defense. And as a Wings fan, you're going, you know what? That's a big defensive player who's now out of the game.
Well, that's what I mean. Brandon Francis just did his job right there. He took one of their best defensemen right out of the game.
And didn't even take a punch doing it.
No. And that's exactly what you need, is that type of guy. Initially, when me and Dave were talking off the air, I thought it was, he did spend a lot of time in the box.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a backfire to kind of have him out there, but after thinking about this again, that's a big win for a guy who that's his job to do. That's what you do, is take out all their players, either mentally, physically, whatever you have to do.
Yeah. I'm still never going to be, I think, 100% Brandon Francis fan, but give the man some credit. I mean, he did his job in at least, getting a player off the field in one way or another. But you move to the second, it's 3-1, and you're hoping, okay, well, Paul Dawson's out of the game, but unfortunately, you've still got his brother Dan to deal with.
Yeah, he tallies one earlier. Dan Dawson scores with the assist from Cody Jameson and Joe Walters at 1:10. Drew Westerveld actually chimes in about 43 seconds later and says, hello, let's make that a 4-2 game. But then that Johnny Palace. He had a heck of a game today. He puts one in the net. About 3 minutes after that, with the assist from Craig Point, and there's his name again, Dan Dawson coming in.
Yeah, Dan Dawson. I tell you what, he loves playing against the Wings. He's having, let's be honest, not a great season offensively, at least as far as goal production goes, but he's killed the Wings in their 2 wins against the Wings, and he did so here. So at this point, we're moving up towards 6-2. Midway through the second, you're going, oh boy, here we go. Rabel tries to cool it down. He gets a goal assisted from Mundorf at 6-3. But then again, John, it seemed like any time Philadelphia got one back, it seemed like Rochester would then score 2. And it just never felt like we could get that offensive train moving. And
it wasn't even like it was immediate, but still, it's just, 1 inch forward, 1,000 feet back. That's what it felt like every time, Even the shorthanded goals, they keep coming.
Yeah.
And I think I screamed to my wall, hoping that you would hear me from about 100 miles away, saying, "Are you kidding me? Can this stop?"
Oh, Dan Dawson.
I texted some pretty nasty words when that happened, if I remember.
I can't mention my tweets. The FCC might see them. But I tell you what, Dan Dawson, again, shorthanded at 11:21. Mundorf gets a power play notch at 12:33. Vitarelli finishes off. It's 8-4 at the half. It doesn't feel like a game that's within reach, but a very good third quarter, though, for the Wings. Kersey and Palace both score in the quarter, but I tell you what, Buchanan, Ross, Hall, they all get in there and they get goals, and it's 10-7, and it's manageable. Let's be honest. The replay, the Kevin Ross,
that wasn't a goal.
That was not a goal. We're Wings fans. We're telling you, Rochester, you got hosed on that one.
Definitely on the line. Yeah.
In fact,
good credit to him, though. I mean, he took a heck of a shot. I couldn't remember exactly what happened.
Well, Ross was in back of the net, and he was trying to jump and do a wraparound, and let's be honest, his footsteps on the crease, pretty obvious, but whatever, it counted. But Ross goes to dive around, and his head hit the knee of whomever the Rochester defender was, and I don't remember who that was, but his head hit dead on, and he really got banged up, but good of him to finish the game. But so Ross and Jordan Hall both score, and it's 10-7 at the fourth, and let's be honest, B. Miller is standing on his head in order to keep the Wings in this, and you're going, wow, we were on a 3-1 run right now, and then Rochester shuts the door and says, no, boys. No. Nice try. Yeah. Brad Self, I think this goal really summed up the second half for the Wings. Brad Self literally took the ball at center field at 42 seconds, took the ball right near the faceoff circle, and saw nobody was on him, and literally walked in on Brandon Miller, unassisted goal. At that point, it's 11-7. At that point, like John would say, cue the Benny Hill music. Vittorelli, Palace gets the hat trick, and then finally Brad Self shorthanded at 13 minutes makes this a 14-7 final. So with the win from the Nighthawks, Rochester now has the tiebreaker over the Philadelphia Wings, a dagger for the Wings' hopes of getting a home.
Marshall, number ferocious mascot in all the NLL. Give it up for Mad Dog! There's Mad Dog. The Warriors Watch Riders are a national troop support group that provide motorcycle escorts for military units returning from war, for units deploying, and for individual warriors coming home or going on. To learn more about this great organization, visit warriorswatch.org. It's time for the ladies! Let's hear it for your Angels Dancers!
Welcome into the Wells Fargo Center, everybody. Dave Walls here for the NLL Network. My producer today, John Barchard. Thanks so much for joining us here for NLL action on the Lacrosse Network. The Philadelphia Wings battling the Toronto Rock today in an exciting rematch. It's the third matchup between these two teams. Season series split 1-1. Philadelphia won back in Week 3, coming from behind to defeat the Toronto Rock 8-7 up at Air Canada Center, led by stellar play by Brandon Miller with an 88% save percentage on the day. 4 goals in the last 5.5 minutes, sealed off by Drew Westervelt's wraparound shot with under 10 seconds left to steal that victory for the Wings. However, Toronto would get revenge just a few weeks ago here in Wells Fargo Center by a final score of 13-8. Rookie Kyle Belton scored a hat trick, his first 3 ever NLL goals, leading the way. Also, Josh Sanderson with 4 goals on the afternoon. This is Toronto's regular season finale. They win today. They clinch overall number 1 seed for the playoffs, meaning they go all the way. All the games will be held at the Air Canada Center. Philadelphia, with a win today, can clinch their playoff berth. They can also clinch a berth even if they don't win today. If Buffalo loses to Washington here in Week 15, the Wings will be into the postseason. Certainly, the Wings looking to extend their win streak up to 2 off of last weekend's 15-13 victory over the Minnesota Swarm. Mike Manley, the rookie defenseman, getting the game-winning goal in that matchup off a breakaway from Drew Westervelt. Manley picked up the rebound and with a very acrobatic shot did it there as well. We will take a timeout for the starting lineups and introductions. When we come back, it's the Wings and the Toronto Rock. This is the NLL Network on the Lacrosse Network. We'll be right back.
TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Forward number 13, Garrett Billings. Defenseman number 14, Rob Marshall. Forward number 16, Blaine Manning. Forward number 17, Stefan LeBlanc. Forward number 19, Josh Sanderson. Defenseman number 21, Bill Greer. Defenseman number 22, Cam Woods. Forward number 33, Casey Beerns. Goalkeeper number 35, Zach Boychuk. Defenseman number 44, Stephen Hoare. Defenseman number 45, Damon Edwards. Goalkeeper number 66, Nick Rose. And defenseman number 87, Kyle Belton. Mark Giordano, assistant referee Chris Williams, shot clock operator Bill Jenkins. We ask now that you please rise, and gentlemen remove your hats for the singing of the Canadian National Anthem, performed tonight by Jeremy Van Etten.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From afar and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
We ask that you please remain standing as we honor America with the national anthem, performed tonight by Klinger Middle School.
Fargo Center. Hi, everybody. Dave Walls here for the NLL Network on the Lacrosse Network. Glad you're here for us on this Saturday game. The Wings regular season finale, at least here at the Wells Fargo Center. Wings do go out to Washington next Saturday. The late game, 10 o'clock out at Comcast Arena. The Wings with a couple milestones. Keep your eyes on today. Brandon Miller is 4 career saves short of 4,000 career saves. So Brandon Miller will certainly cross that plateau today. Drew Westerveld is also 4 more points away from 300 career points. Jordan Hall, his goal in Rochester last week, that's his 100th career goal. Couldn't think of Jordan doing it anywhere else. Very nice of him to do that. And also Brody Merrill also passing the 100 loose balls record for 8 consecutive seasons. So the Wings with a couple milestones passed and a couple milestones to look forward to. Right now, let's go ahead and run down the starting lineups for today's matchup. First for the visiting Toronto Rock, Jesse Gamble, of course, out there on defense, and transition. Patrick Merrill, Rob Marshall, Stephen Hoare, and Kyle Belton. You Wings fans will remember that name because Belton getting the hat trick, his first 3 ever NLL goals in the matchup against these Wings last time at Wells Fargo Center. In net for Toronto is, of course, number 66, Nick Rose. Had a very good game against Rochester. Rochester last week, where Toronto won 10-9. Rochester put up a very late rally and did some very nice things, but were unable to force overtime. For the Philadelphia Wings, starting off today, Kyle Sweeney is in there, number 7. Brett Manny, of course, out there, number 13. Ned Crotty, Pat Heim, Kyle Hartzell, and Brandon Miller starting in net. Scratch today, CJ Costabile, Jeff Reynolds, and Brandon Francis from the lineup. So Pat Heim is primarily going to be doing a lot of the face-offs for today's matchups, with everybody else being scratched. So face-offs will be an issue we'll have to watch out for. We're getting ready to get underway as the ceremonial face-off is out being done at center field. All the players out there, Merrill and Heim, will take the opening face-off. I think we're just about ready to go. Glad you're with us here wherever you are. If you're watching the replay here in North America, or if you're international, send me a tweet at Dave Walls. We'd love to hear from you. I know we've got fans. We've had people watching from Belgium, from London, from anywhere you're at. Please send me a tweet, and I want to hear from you wherever you are watching live. Good-sized crowd on hand for a Saturday afternoon here in Philadelphia. These Wings fans, I tell you what, coming into the game against Minnesota last week, had almost gotten lulled to sleep. The Wings were in the middle of a 5-game losing streak, and really, it's almost like the fans had prepared themselves for an inevitable loss, but the Wings Army got fired up off of that 15-13 win. Brandon Miller, 492 saves. He's 8 saves away from 500 on the season. Nick Rose, really one of the few goaltenders to beat him, leads the league with 569 saves. So 2 of the elite goalies in the NLL getting ready to do battle. Toronto in the white uniforms of blue and red trim, moving left to right. Philadelphia in the home black and red. They win the face-off off a face-off violation, so it's going to be the Wings out for the first rally. Kevin Crowley has the ball as he brings it near side. Crowley out with Rabel. Westerveld out there as he rolls low. Jordan Hall. Now a man moving in the slot is Brendan Mundorf. Mundorf kicks it down low with 13 on the shot clock. Mundorf over to Crowley, Crowley loses it off the stick checker, regains possession, but now quickly checked away again. Merrill has it briefly. Belton overruns it. Now with 4-3. Here's a breakaway for Rabel into the slot. Shoots. Save made Nick Rose. But great second opportunity by Paul Rabel, picking up the loose ball. Made a nice move, but Nick Rose was able to match him. So Toronto breathes a sigh of relief, that is, as they come up the field for their first offensive possession. Stefan LeBlanc out there, and he dumps the ball around. Now comes up top to Hellier. Far side. Here's a shot, save made by Miller. Gets the shoulder on it. Quick rebound comes right over to Brett Manning, and he's able to kick the ball up the floor to Brody Merrill. So both teams get the opening jitters out of the way. 1-1 shots on goal. Philadelphia out for their second offensive possession. This time McClellan and Buchanan are out there along with Mundorf. Rolling off his man, it looks to be Brody Merrill who's out for this offensive possession. 10 on the shot clock. Kevin Ross is tied up. He loses possession. Sandy Chapman picks it back up. 2-on-1 breakaway. Now 4-on-2. Here comes Greer. He holds into the slot. Nice move and a save made by Miller. Oh, it got lost in his clothes and he didn't know where it was, but Brandon Miller was able to keep up with that. At one point, Toronto had a 4-on-1 breakaway. Miscommunication for the Wings, but they're able to survive as Joel White brings it up the floor. Now he dumps it off to Westervelt. Minute and a half in, no scores. Rabel finds some traffic. Shot. Save made by Rose to the right shoulder. Loose ball in the corner with a reset shot clock. Both teams fighting over at Rabel with a nice stick check away against Rob Marshall. Ball still fought for. Lots of hacking going on. Kevin Crowley down there, and it looks like Toronto's finally got to pick it up back up as Marshall gets it after about a 30-second scrum. But ball loose again, and now Toronto's got to worry about an 8-second violation. They get the long pass away. Jesse Gamble's unable to get to it as he was checked away, but now the ball loose in the corner again as down there fighting for it is Hellier. Toronto's finally able to calm themselves down a little bit with only 10 seconds on the shot clock. Up top is Billings trying to find some room to pass. He can't do it as Manny's tight on him. Over to LeBlanc with 3-2. Got to take the long-distance bouncer. Save made by Miller. Big rebound given up, but it's able to be cleared by Heim. Good job by the defense so far. However, unable to get the ball out in transition to Sweeney. He can't control. Over and back it should be. Yes, it is over and back as Hobbins was unable to control near the center line. So turnover by Toronto. But I tell you what, both teams are really getting physical out there. As Sweeney's stick gets broken, he's going to have to run off the field and get a new stick, so the Wings temporarily shorthanded. Here's a shot, save made. It actually hits the net off of Rose, so Philadelphia is going to get a fresh 30. Sweeney's got stick checked, and the head of his stick actually shattered out in the field, so there's a broken stick out there, but he's able to get it. Hard hits on both sides as Crowley has it. Avoids the play from Damon Edwards. Crowley over to the far side, now back over to Westervelt with 18 on the shot clock, plenty of time. Nice flip to Crowley, he can't control. Great defensive pressure put on by Hobbins, and now we get a loose ball violation. It's going to be called against Philadelphia. So neither team has really gotten set in their offense. It's been a very physical defense on both sides. No real good scoring opportunities yet, and we're still tied up in nothing. 3 shots on goal here, 3.5 minutes in. 1-0, though. Nice pass over to Bierns. Save made by Miller, but Toronto's able to get the loose rebound. They get a fresh 30, working 1-on-1. Far side is Billings, however, illegal screen as Manley's knocked down. So Toronto's going to go ahead and turn the ball over to Philadelphia. Kevin Ross gets a touch. He flips it far side back out to Paul Rabel. Rabel with 2 goals last week in the win against Minnesota. Nice play into the slot, however, couldn't get the shot on net, so just 10 seconds remain for the Wings as Ross is able to get his own rebound. Merrill's trapped with 3. He's going to have to get the ball in net. Nice move inside. Here's a shot that's saved made by Rose. I tell you what, though, nice play by Brody Merrill, realizing the shot clock was ticking down, and he was able to at least get the shot on net. Toronto comes back the other way. Stephen LeBlanc gets knocked down. Nice job by Philadelphia stick checking, and now Manny and LeBlanc really going at it as Manny now checks LeBlanc into the boards. 2 hard hits, those guys giving each other a couple extra jabs. Toronto does pick up the loose rebound, though, as Sanderson has the ball. Sanderson kicks it back up top to Billings. Far side, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Unable to connect on a pass to LeBlanc. Ball loose in the midfield area. Sanderson got stick checked away. Sweeney runs the ball back up for the fast break for Philadelphia. Over to Crowley. Crowley finds a double team and kicks back over to Sweeney. Unable to control the ball loose at center field. Here comes a 1-0 breakaway for Hobbins if he can control it, but he can't. He finds himself double teamed and checked away very nicely by the Philadelphia defense near the bench. Tell you what, this is a fast start for this defense who has had very rough first quarters so far this season. Outlet pass to Crowley. The shot clock was winding down, so Crowley had to fire it long distance. He does get it on Rose, who makes the save. And now here's a turnover by Toronto. Ball was loose on the turf. Crowley picks it up, says, okay, boys, I'll take that one. So Crowley's holding and waiting for some help as the defense of Philadelphia had taken a little bit of time to come off there. A bit of miscommunication, but they get it out there. They reset with Rabel, Westervelt, Crowley, far side over to Kevin Ross, and Mundorf out there as well. Ross stuck in with a double team. He'll have to pull the ball back out with 10 seconds to go. Up top to Westervelt. He rolls in. Here's a shot. Easy pad save made by Rose. Loose rebound comes right over to Cam Woods, and they're able to clear. Woods outlet pass, long distance over to Jesse Gamble near side. Already under 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 6-on-5 shots on goal in favor of Philadelphia, but neither team able to find rope so far here in the first. Working 1-on-1. It's Manley on defense against Hellier. Hellier pulls the ball back out, attempts to get it over to Doyle. Here's 1-0 to Sanderson. He shoots and scores. Josh Sanderson catches the pass and makes a nifty move down low to get himself broken free towards Brandon Miller. Stuffs it in low, and Toronto strikes first 1-0. The first real good scoring opportunity we see here is the ball was initially deflected, it looks like, and it comes right into Sanderson's stick, and he beats Crotty. He's able to get himself down low. As you see here the replay, good footwork as well as Sanderson was close to the crease line, but it's a good goal, and Toronto jumps out to the 1-0 lead. 27th goal of the season for Josh Sanderson. Face off at center, we'll just keep it right here as face off one, and the Wings take it. Crotty has the ball. He runs down low, is going to draw a double team here briefly as Philadelphia is getting their offense out on the field. Philadelphia's been a little bit slow on their line changes so far, but they able to get in here. As a shot save made by Ross as it was Buchanan on the dive. Ball still loose on the turf, however. I tell you what, both these teams really want this win. You can see how physical they're playing right now as you have Belton and Merrill down there for Toronto. Buchanan fighting for it down there against Jordan Hall, but Toronto's going to come away with the ball briefly, but now ball loose on the turf again as Toronto's gotten possession. That ball is now, got to reset on the shot clock as Philadelphia gets a shot out of that somehow. Ball is still loose on the turf. These guys seem to be more interested in belting each other than picking up the ball, but Merrill gets it here. Reset shot clock, and now Toronto gets the ball out and across. Merrill's able to do so here. Sloppy stick work on both sides has led to some long scrums like that. Already halfway through the first, 1-0 Toronto. Colin Doyle up top. 7-6 shots on goal, and Brandon Miller has now passed 4,000 career saves. We want to say congratulations to B. Miller in the net for passing that milestone. Passing 4,000 career saves here in the first. Shot clock winding down. That shot goes wide. It's a crease violation. And with that's going to come our first media timeout. Josh Sanderson gets number 27 on the season. And with 7:16 left to go in the first, the Toronto Rock 1, the Philadelphia Wings 0. This is the NLL on the Lacrosse Network. $7:16 left to go in the first. The Toronto Rock 1, the Philadelphia Wings 0. Fans, tonight's game brought to you in part by Reebok. Redefine your game with Reebok's new Black line. Reebok Black was designed and engineered for the elite lacrosse player. Reebok's Black line features a lightweight and minimalistic design with carbon light technology. Performance-driven, technology-driven, NLL proven. Find all the new Reebok lacrosse gear online at ReebokBlack.com. Dave Walls here at the Wells Fargo Center as Josh Sanderson's goal has Toronto up 1-0. Shots on goal favor Philadelphia 7-6. Not a lot of good scoring opportunities so far. Really, the only good one we've seen has been the Josh Sanderson goal. Brandon Miller, as we mentioned right before the break, has now passed 4,000 career saves. Drew Westervelt needs 4 points today to reach 300 career points as well. Hey, if you're watching internationally, watching this live on the Lacrosse Network, please feel free to give me a tweet at Dave Walls. I'd love to hear from you. I have been getting tweets from some of the fans here at the Wells Fargo Center, which has been great. In fact, Art Wixon on Twitter says, "Hey, Dave, I'm in from Louisville to watch our first Wings game in person." That's fantastic. He says, "I'll miss your play-by-play tonight on the YouTube." Well, I tell you what, you can on the YouTube. You can, of course, go online after the game back at your hotel or once you get back to Louisville and enjoy that one, home of the national basketball champions, college basketball. But thanks so much to the Wings Army. We are all over the nation and the world, not just here in Philadelphia. Lots of Toronto Rock fans here as well. We're celebrating when Sanderson got his first goal on the game. Our friends at CBS Sports Network are here broadcasting the game as well. Brent Stover doing a great job on the play-by-play as well. Good-sized crowd here on hand on this Saturday afternoon. Not a lot going on in South Philadelphia today. In fact, I believe the Flyers are still playing live here on Saturday out in Buffalo. Phillies will be playing later tonight, I believe, down in Miami as well. So not a lot of action here in South Philly. So good-sized crowd here on hand. And you got to get down here as well. For more tickets and info, go to wingslax.com. Wings get the ball off the faceoff, but a loose ball violation turns it over to Toronto. Crew chief today is Mark Gardonia with the assistant referee, Chris Williams. Gamble with the ball, near side. He'll kick that back up top to LeBlanc, but Gamble will stay out on offense on this series. LeBlanc takes the shot, save made by Miller, a late reaction, but he's able to get the knee pad on it. And the Wings defense does a nice job of clearing the ball. They'll run the field fast break. But now pulling it back up is Joel White. Check that. Brody Merrill was on the fast break as he and Hartzell come out. Offensively for the Wings, it'll be Buchanan, McClellan out there, along with Rabel, Mundorf, and Ross. Up top to Rabel. He swims his way through traffic, falls down on the play with 5. Tried to one-time it over to McClellan, unable to connect, and Toronto will get the ball as the shot clock was ready to expire. Right idea to hit the one-timer pass over to McClellan, just couldn't connect on that, and Toronto escapes. Toronto holds the ball far side, approaching 6 minutes left to go here in the first. 1-0 your score. 13 on the shot clock. Up top to Doyle. Doyle rolls through traffic, tries a behind-the-back flip over to Greer, can't connect. 5 seconds on the clock as Toronto gets the loose ball. Tried a bounce shot in on Merrill. Bearns over there putting pressure on, but Manley gets the ball for Philadelphia. Pat Heim brings it up and across the timeline. He'll flip it off to Jordan Hall, who got career goal number 100 last week up in Rochester against his former team, the Nighthawks. Congratulations to Jordan. Mundorf with the ball. He's got Hall in front of him, but worked on nicely by Merrill. They'll work the ball around to Crowley with 8. Crowley now rolls inside. Has some traffic, however, another illegal screen. Now Crowley getting the gloves up as well. Crowley and Cam Woods both get the sticks and gloves in each other's face, and they're both going to go off for, I think, a 2-minute roughing call here. We've seen lots of physical action here in the first. Sweeney was stick-checked and had his stick broken, and Brett Manny was working against Billings earlier on in the game, but both of those guys are going to escape, and Crowley and Woods are going to go off to the box here. So Philadelphia losing one of their big guns for the next 2 minutes. We'll get the penalty calls here in just a moment. Shots on goal, 7-7, tied up here. 5:25 to go in the first, with the Rock leading at 1-0. Stephen LeBlanc has the ball, as both of those two go off for roughing with 5:25 to go here in the first. LeBlanc down up top to Billings, now rotates it over to Doyle. He was trying to hit Casey Bearns in the slot, but he was worked on nicely by Hartzell. Hartzell gets the ball. Now Philadelphia brings up across the timeline. Merrill thought about the fast break, but decides to pull it back to Rabel. Buchanan, Merrill, Rabel, Sweeney out there as well. Far side to Mundorf, who has the ball now. Mundorf launches one, goes wide. Wings will get the rebound with about 10 on the shot clock, however unable to control. And actually the ball goes up into the netting as well, as we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. Philadelphia is going to get the ball with 6 seconds left to go on the shot clock. As the ball had gone into the netting, Philadelphia will get it. But first, we have a media timeout. 4:43 left to go in the first. It remains Toronto 1, Philadelphia nothing. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Back after this.
I mean, are we kidding me right now? You really think that you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help you? No, sir.
.443 left to go in the first. The Toronto Rock cling to a 1-0 lead. Fans, you can watch the NLL live on CBS Sports Network. Live national broadcast each week for the remainder of the regular season and playoffs, including the championship game. Next broadcast comes up on Saturday, April 20th. The Buffalo Bandits host the Rochester Nighthawks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, up in Bandit Land. To find the channel on your cable or satellite system, just go to CBSSportsNetwork.com. Well, Dave Walls here at the Wells Fargo Center. Thank you for spending part of your time here on YouTube with us here on the Lacrosse Network. If you're international and watching this live, send me a tweet at Dave Walls. Would love to hear from you. For those of you watching the replay, you can still send me a tweet. I just, I won't be here at the stadium, but I can answer your questions about the game. The Wings with the win today will clinch a playoff berth. They can also clinch one with a Buffalo loss, regardless of this. Toronto playing for the overall #1 seed, as this is their regular season finale. So if Toronto wins this, they've got home field advantage all the way up to the Champions Cup if that's where it takes them. So there is still something left to play for. We was talking with Mike Gancock, Director of Communications for Toronto, and we were wondering how much does Toronto want this game? Theoretically, there's other scenarios where Toronto could possibly even get that #1 advantage, even if they don't win here today. As Philadelphia, right off the right off the restart, they only had 6 seconds on the shot clock. McClellan gets a one-timer, but it's saved by Rose, so ball goes out of play in Toronto. We'll get that. We're talking with them, saying, how much do you guys want this game? He said, they want this one really bad. It's their last regular season game. They're going to take week 16 off. You don't want that pressure. As Sanderson fires, left shoulder save made by Miller. You want to get that monkey off your back and just know it's in the bag as far as you're going to be at your home stadium. You know what you're going to be doing.
As for Philadelphia, there's still possibly an outside chance of even hosting a playoff game if you win today. So scenarios are abound as Rabel moves in. Save goes into the left knee pad of Nick Rose. So stoppage of play, and Toronto brings it back up. Gamble pushes the action near side. Philadelphia would love to come out of this first quarter up 1-0 as Wiedmeyer's working on Colin Doyle. Those two had a pretty good battle the last time they were here. Here's a shot. Big save made by Miller. Oh, they were able to thread a pass over to Casey Behrens. Miller was equal to the challenge. On the ball loose on the turf. It's Wiedmeyer's throwing his body around, but it's going to be Toronto who comes up with it as a beautiful open field play by Manning is able to check that one away and pick it back up. So a fresh 30 for the Rock and a second opportunity. Far side to Hellier with Holmes working on him. Big tangle of bodies. Here's a bounce shot and scored. Toronto Rock. Sanderson gets number 2. He goes down hard on the play, but he's able to bounce it in from outside. And with 3:21 left to go here in the first, it's a 2-0 game. Taking a look at this one as Sanderson, boy, beautiful job of bouncing it in from the outside. And Miller can't believe he let that one through as he take another look here on the alternate angle we've got here. Sanderson knew he was going to get drilled, and he did, but he's able to bounce it in. So well done by him. Sanderson responsible for both Toronto goals.
Toronto goals for number 19, Josh Sanderson, is second. The assist number 10, Rob Hellier. And number 16, Blaine Manning. Time of the goal, 11:39.
Hellier and Manning get the assist at 11:39. 2-0 Toronto. They've also taken over the shots on goal 10-8, I should say. Wings win the faceoff though. Rabel out there. Pass by Buchanan intended for Mundorf goes errant. That's going to be an over and back violation. So Philadelphia has not really had a good scoring opportunity in a while here, and with 2:53 left to go in the first, in danger of possibly getting shut out here in the first. LeBlanc tries to dive down low, however, illegal screen as Wiedmeyer goes down in a heap. Check that, it's Manley, the single 5, not the double 5. Manley was working on Doyle. Doyle knocks him down, so that'll be a illegal play by Toronto. Philadelphia has the ball now. 2:38 left to go here in the first. 2-0 score. Philadelphia unable to control the ball. Jordan Hall's being held by Jesse Gamble. In fact, Gamble's got a hold of the jersey, but Philadelphia comes away with it. Double team against Hall, by Ross. He shoots, hits the crossbar. No over and back violation. It goes off the crossbar, so Philadelphia gets a fresh 30. That's as close as Philadelphia has come today. It's a beautiful individual play by Kevin Ross. He was able to beat the double team and somehow swim through and find some space. Crowley moves in, shot goes wide. Ball comes right back over to him. Actually goes off the defender, then right into his stick. So Crowley will shoot it over to Buchanan. He shoots and scores! Finally, with 1:59 left to go here in the first, it's the Wings with the long-distance shot, and they strike back 2-1. And the Wells Fargo Center crowd comes alive here as, like we mentioned, hadn't been a lot of good quality scoring opportunities, but they're able to get one there. The 11th shot on goal for Philadelphia. As we take a look at the replay here, I believe it's Buchanan. And if it is, as we're taking a look at the replay in the booth. Buchanan has really come alive here in the last 2 to 3 weeks. He's been a sniper from the outside. As you take a look at the replay, we get the call from the public address announcer off the feed from Crowley.
Goal scorer number 27, Kevin Buchanan! The assist number 10, Kevin Crowley. Time of the goal, 13:01.
At 13:01, it's Buchanan from Crowley. 2-1 your score. Another shot by Philadelphia and a save made by Nick Rose. So Philadelphia, they can keep it at 2-1 going into quarter number 2. I think they're going to feel pretty good about themselves. Really, Josh Sanderson has been the only player to burn them. Billings and Doyle have really been shut out from any good quality scoring opportunities. Here's Sanderson looking for the first quarter hat trick. However, save made by Miller. Loose rebound, though, controlled over on the far side by Hellier. Hellier will get the fresh 30 for Toronto. Up top to Sanderson. Now over on the near side to LeBlanc. LeBlanc working one-on-one, but can't find any room. A couple spin moves, no go. Double team drawn briefly by Casey Behrens. Now in traffic, here's a shot that is not saved by Miller. Goes wide. Loose rebound beautifully picked up by Manley. He loses the ball briefly, but now is able to get it up across as we're under 1 minute to play here in the first. Ross Dives down low, draws a double team, however, shoots it, save made by Rose. Easy save that time. Not sure that was an optimal time for Kevin Ross to shoot the ball, as he had drawn 2, possibly 3 defenders, and he was getting help from the backside, but Toronto will go ahead and get it. And looking back, if Philadelphia can hold Toronto to 1 shot here, then Philadelphia will get last ball. Colin Doyle, the captain, near side, into the slot, shot, save made by Miller. Casey Behrens was alone in the slot, beat his man, and now Miller's going to come off to the bench. Empty net for Philadelphia as we go under 15 to go. Brody Merrill gets it up across the timeline to Mundorf. It's going to be Mundorf, Crowley, Jordan Hall out there. Westervelt goes in back of the net with Rabel as well. Now over to Crowley. Intercepted, however. Intercepted with an empty net. Long distance shot and goes wide. Oh, I tell you what, Philadelphia's heart just skipped the beat, as Miller couldn't have gotten back in net, but Cam Woods put the long distance shot wide of the empty net, and that draws to a close the first quarter. Not a lot of scoring opportunities, but Josh Sanderson gets 2. A late fire by Buchanan draws Philadelphia back, and at the end of 1, it's the Toronto Rock 2, Philadelphia 1. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Welcome back to the Wells Fargo Center, getting ready to start quarter number 2. It's the Toronto Rock 2, the Philadelphia Wings 1. Dave Walls here from the Wells Fargo Center. Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. If you're watching us internationally, send me a tweet at Dave Walls. Would love to hear from you. If you're watching on a replay on YouTube, tweet me as well. Would love to talk about this game. Right now, shots on goal favoring the Philadelphia Wings 13-12. Philadelphia able to claw back into this one thanks to a sniper shot by Kevin Buchanan at 13:01. Josh Sanderson has both tallies for Toronto. Really, it's been a case of Philadelphia not getting a lot of quality scoring opportunities so far. What they have gotten, they've capitalized on. Toronto's hasn't had much more offensive pressure, though. They've had a couple good breakaways. Brandon Miller so far 11 saves on the day for him, as he goes over 4,000 career marks as well. So far, really, it's been a battle of not a lot of good scoring opportunities. Both defenses playing very tight, very hard to hitting. We've already seen some sticks and gloves coming up, and wouldn't be surprised to see that continue at least throughout the first half. Only 2 penalties have come against Kevin Crowley and Cam Woods, respectively, for Philadelphia and Toronto, as both of those 2 went off for for roughing, I should say, late in the first. So again, good defensive pressure showed by both teams. One area we've seen that's been interesting, I wouldn't have expected, is a lot of sloppy stick work and picking up loose balls this game, and a couple really long scrums into the corner, and neither team has really been able to really garner control of the transition game so far. Toronto's had one good breakaway, but they weren't able to do anything with that. I want to say a big hello to Lauren Gardner and Brenton Stover and everybody over at CBS Sports Network. They're here calling the game live, and hope you're enjoying their coverage as well. As the faceoff's underway here for the second, as Toronto goes right to left in their white road uniforms. Merrill wins the faceoff for them. Patrick Merrill, I should say. Line change for Toronto as they get their offense out in the field. 15 on the shot clock. Walking right in is Doyle. He puts the shot wide, however. Billings has it with 10 on the shot clock. Looking for room. He's got Sweeney working on him. Now rolls through traffic with 3-2. He gets the shot. Another big save made by Miller. However, ball still loose on the turf. And again, a third opportunity here. But now Sweeney checks it out. It's going to go past midfield. And that's an over and back violation. So Damon Edwards will have to drop the ball. Good stick check by Sweeney as he knocks the ball loose, and it's going to be a turnover for Toronto. First offensive series for Philadelphia as Jordan Hall runs in low. Here's a shot. Score! Jordan Hall finds room down low and turns on the Jets running into the goal, and now it's a tie game 2-2. Just 54 seconds here into the second, and the 14th Philadelphia shot leads to the game-tying goal. Take a look at the replay when it comes up here. Jordan Hall really just finds himself alone and almost felt like Toronto didn't give him the respect like he was going to turn on the Jets. It's only Hall's 11th goal in the season, but certainly he showed why he was really an underrated player coming out of that Paul Rabel, Dan Dawson trade.
It's just number 17, Brody Merrill. Time of the goal, 44 seconds.
So Merrill gives it up to Hall at 44 seconds. 2-2 your score. Toronto gets the ball. Here's a long-distance shot. Save made by Miller as Hellier shoots that one long distance. Whistle stops play, and it's the Wings who now bring the ball up with a tie game. Drew Westervelt's been quiet so far on the day, but he fires that one over to Rabel. Out there with Ross. Now Rabel thinks about a dive down low. Might have had a little bit of room, but does the smart thing and pulls it back up top to Ross. Now Ross dives down low. He gets near the crease, but is able to keep his foot out. However, big hit on, I believe that was Mundorf, and it was. Now a breakaway for Toronto. 3-on-1. Here's a shot and a score. It's going to be Bill Greer who puts it in. It looks like Mundorf had gotten hit up high with the stick into the helmet. We take another look in the replay. Mundorf definitely got hit up high, but no call. And so Edwards is able to scoop up the loose ball, and on a 3-on-1 breakaway, pretty easy here as Bill Greer is able to slam it onto the near side. So Toronto regains the lead 3-2, 13-12 left to go here in the second. The Philadelphia faithful letting the officials know that Mundorf got hit high, but they got away with one here.
Score by number 21, Bill Greer. This is number 45, Damon Edwards. Time of the goal, 1 minute and 48 seconds.
And Damon Edwards has had a couple high hits on players this season. In fact, in the second game against Philadelphia here at the Wells Fargo Center, Edwards went off in the fourth quarter for a 5-minute high sticking major against Jeff Reynolds that knocked him out of the remainder of that game as well. So it's not like it's been a one-time thing for Edwards. But regardless, we resume live action as Toronto has the ball, flips it over. Ball actually rolls into the crease and hits the bar, but now we got a breakaway going the other way as Sweeney is out there with Westervelt. Sweeney brings it across the timeline. 17-14 shots on goal. Already just 2.5 gone here in the second. Been a lot of action so far, so early in the quarter. Over to Buchanan, far side, has Hall giving a screen to him. Tries to flip it back over to Hall. Ball tipped away to Westervelt. He shoots low to high, and save made by Nick Rose. Rose controls, gets a long outlet pass. However, we got a delayed penalty. It's going to come up against Philadelphia. Head referee Mark Gardonio is going to call it, and it looks like Philadelphia is going to go a man down. Haven't seen who's going in so far. Drew Westervelt, it appears, is going to go off for a roughing call. Time of that's going to be 2:51, so Toronto's going to get its first power play on the afternoon. So the Toronto power play out in the field right now as play is resumed. Billings to Doyle.
Number 26, Drew Westervelt, 2 minutes for roughing.
So it is 2 for roughing. Save made by Miller. Long outlet pass intended for Brody Merrill on the breakaway, but Nick Rose comes out to smartly deflect that one. Could have been a big collision, but Rose angled himself well in order to get to the ball, so now a fresh 30 for Toronto. Already 30 seconds gone on the power play. Here's a shot by Doyle that goes wide. Found himself breaking off the bench. Had a good scoring opportunity. Ball still fought for. Behrens gets the ball with 13 up top to Manning. Over to Doyle. Doyle holding, has Manny in front of him to now here's a shot. Another good save made by Miller. Rebound comes loose to Behrens. Manley's finally able to pick it up for Philadelphia. However, he tried to fire it long distance to Sweeney. And so again, another Philadelphia turnover and another opportunity. Only a minute gone in this power play, and Toronto's getting its third offensive possession. Not good clock management by the Wings. Up top to Billings, now to Manning. Far side to Doyle, flipping it around, sneaking in. Up top to Manning again. Tried to one-time it to Doyle. Now to Billings again. To Doyle. He shoots and scores. Beautiful tic-tac-toe passing. Finds Casey Behrens alone on the side. And with 10:53 to go, it's a power play goal. Pushes it to 4-2. You could see it coming a mile away, but when you're on defense, there's not much you can do. Just good tic-tac-toe passing. Manley gives Behrens a little bit of breathing room, and it's an easy, almost an empty net goal for Casey Behrens. He's able to flip it into the back of the net. So the power play goal pushes it to a 4-2 advantage as the faceoff gets ready to happen at center field. As we'll get the call from the public address announcer. Should be from Doyle and Billings at 4:07.
Toronto goal scored by number 33, Casey Behrens. Assist number 7, Colin Doyle. And number 13, Garrett Billings.
So at 4:07, it's a power play goal. Toronto wins the faceoff. Stephen Hoare has the ball. He flips it upfield to Patrick Merrill. 21-15 shots on goal in favor of Toronto right now. On a 2-0 run here in the second. Over to Billings. Finds some room near side, but that hole closes up quickly as I believe that's Wiedmeyer out in the field. He closed that hole up. He's having a good day so far as that shot goes wide to Billings. Can't get it as the shot clock expires. Crotty puts some defense on him. And now the Wings will run the ball back upfield. Over to Rabel. He's in the crease. He shoots, goes off the crossbar, but Rabel stepped on the crease violation. Turned that ball right over. Media timeout coming at the next stoppage, but Edwards pushes the action for Toronto. Intended pass over to Doyle. Hits a Philadelphia player in the back. And so it'll fall harmlessly into the stick of Brandon Miller. Brody Merrill comes off in transition as he flips it over to Jordan Hall. Hall out there along with Mike McClellan. Tries to hit Ross over the pass. Intercepted. It goes loose. Now fought for on the floor. Shot clock continues to run. Ross gets a shot on net. Big save made by Nick Rose. Don't know how Ross even got himself free enough, let alone got a good shot on Rose as well, but easy save for the Toronto netminder, and Toronto has the ball in front of their own bench. Manning out there, shot by Doyle, goes wide over, falls right back into the stick of Manning, into the slot. He moves, shoots, and what a save made by Miller. Good weaving inside by Manning, realized the slot was open and found himself some room, and Miller was just able to get enough of it to knock it wide. Into Doyle, into triple team traffic, flips it back up top to Sanderson, and Toronto will have to reset. Sanderson now out there with Billings, with Manning in front of him. Billings trying to find some room. He dives down low. Now we'll have to pull it back up. 7 on the shot clock. Tries to pass inside, goes right off of Sweeney. Now Philadelphia will just let the ball roll harmlessly into the stick of Joel White. And now here come the Wings, down by 2, 8.5 to go here in the second. Mundorf receives the ball. Been a little cold as of late. Mundorf would love to get hot and get a tally here against Toronto. Mundorf flips it far side to Rabel. Rabel finds himself some room, but Belton comes over. Now back up top to Mundorf, flips to Hall. Now back over into the slot. Here's a shot that goes wide. Crowley had a really good look at it and just put it high and wide. Now a breakaway for Edwards. Edwards runs in, shoots. What a save made by Miller. Dives down into the split and is able to control the ball. The Wings fans showing him some love as B. Miller keeps it to a 2-goal game. The Wings will reset for a fresh 30. Brody Merrill, Kevin Ross out there along with Buchanan and Rabel with Westerveld back in there. Rabel moves inside, had a shot, but instead pulls it back up top to Buchanan. Buchanan rolls off of his defender with 4-3. Rabel's going to have to take it 2-1. He's not even going to get the shot off as Brody Merrill barely gets it, but no, they will say shot clock violation. And so no shot for Philadelphia. It'll be turned over to Toronto, and with that brings a media timeout. 7:27 left to go in the second. Toronto 2, the Toronto Rock lead by 2 by a score of 4-2. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Back after this.
TLN SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but...
7:27 left to go here in the first half. It's the Toronto Rock 4, Philadelphia 2. Dave Walls from the Wells Fargo Center. And shots on goal also led by Toronto as well, 23-15. Running down the scoring sheet right now, Jordan Hall and Kevin Buchanan with both goals for Philadelphia. Those came at the end of the first at 13:01 and also leading into the second at 54 seconds from a nice feed off Brody Merrill. And then Toronto answered right back with goals from Bill Greer and then Casey Behrens on the power play. Josh Sanderson leading all scorers right now with 2 goals on the afternoon. Good crowd on hand here in Philadelphia. Saturday afternoon, Wings fans enjoying Fan Appreciation Day here at the Wells Fargo Center as they try to see their Wings clinching a playoff berth in today's game. Toronto with a win today will clinch number 1 overall seed in the NLL playoffs, and certainly with them taking off on week 16, it'd be nice for them to go home and know that they're going to be able to stay home no matter what happens in the playoffs. Well, off the reset, Toronto's going to get the ball as it was a shot clock violation, I should say, by Philadelphia. So Rob Hellier brings the ball in for Toronto out there with Doyle, Behrens, LeBlanc out there, and as well as Josh Sanderson. Behrens with the ball, now rolling inside. Had Sweeney working on him, so he pulls it back up top to LeBlanc. 10 on the shot clock, approaching 7 minutes to go here in the half. Doyle with the ball, can't get the shot through traffic. Goes right into the stomach of Kyle Hartzell. He loses his stick. Shot save made by Miller. Hartzell clutching his chest. He took a hard shot right to the ribcage, and he's going to go off as well. Brody Merrill gets the ball up and across the timeline for the Wings. Wings offense has been silent the last 5 minutes. Not a lot of good scoring opportunities as Westervelt flips it over. Now back over to Mundorf, near side, 10 on the clock. Mundorf with a lane to run. He's going to come in. Here's a shot and save made by Rose. However, crease violation, says the down official. That's Chris Williams down there on the crease line, and turnover for Philadelphia. Not a lot of flow here in the second for the Philadelphia offense, unable to really connect on any quality scoring opportunities or set themselves up. That run by Mundorf, probably the best here in the last couple of minutes. Billings has the ball. He shoots. Stick save made by Miller. Goes into the mesh. And Joel White will bounce like a pinball and feed it up top to Holmes. Numbers from Philadelphia. Westervelt coming off the bench. Now over near side to Joel White. But White's going to have to pull that back up and wait for some scores to come out in the field. So good run by Philadelphia, but that's something we've heard coaches talk about here in the late stages of this season for Philadelphia, knowing when to use their athleticism and knowing when to pull the ball back, and it was a good opportunity by Joel White to do so. Kevin Ross gets the shot low. It's save made by Nick Rose. Rebound, however, comes loose to Buchanan, and Philadelphia's going to get a fresh 30. Offense will stay back out in the field. Ross is over on the near side. They flip it over to him to get the offense a little more time to breathe and get set up. Paul Rabel. They're there up top to Buchanan. Now over to Rabel. Rabel dives inside. Can't find any room. He'll have to flip it over to Crowley. The ball comes loose. 10 on the shot clock. Toronto's going to go ahead and pick the ball up. However, big tie up in the corner. Toronto's going to get it, and now finally they will push the ball up across the timeline with Blaine Manning. Again, another second chance opportunity for Philadelphia, but unable to even get a shot on net as we go under 5 minutes to go here in period number 2, with Toronto holding on to that 4-2 lead. Intended pass for Billings goes wide. It's going to be Hellier who has to come back out and clean it up with 6 on the shot clock. Far side to Doyle. He comes up top. Was going to have to launch one. That shot is saved. In fact, it gets tipped away off of Sweeney. Merrill feeds it over to Manley. Manley gets a shot and it scores! Mike Manley, the rookie defenseman, gets NLL goal number 2. Back-to-back weeks for the rookie, and he brings Philadelphia within 1 at 4-3. Manley not one to take shots, but he found himself in the middle of a 2-on-1 breakaway, and he's set up by the captain, Brody Merrill. And I tell you what, for someone who doesn't shoot the ball a lot, Manley's got great footwork in front of the net. We saw it last week on his breakaway, and he does it here again as he tiptoes around the line and gets Philadelphia's third goal as you get the call from the public address announcer here any moment now. 24-17 shots on goal.
Wings goal, scorer number 5, Michael Manley. Assist number 17, Brody Merrill. Time of the goal, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Wings goal number 5, Michael Manley. The assist number 17, Brody Merrill. Time of the goal, 10:20.
And with that goal, we go to a media timeout. 4:34 left to go here in period number 2. It's Toronto 4, Philadelphia 3. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Back after this. .434 left to go here in the first half, with Toronto now clinging to a 1-goal lead, 4-3. Toronto fans, Toronto Rock, your Rock are coming home. They host a first-round playoff game against still an opponent yet to be determined at the Air Canada Centre. That game, we know, though, is going to be on Sunday, March 28th at 3 p.m. Now, if the Rock win today, they clinch home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs and the championship game. You want to get those playoff tickets now. Trust me, they do not last. Just head to torontorock.com for more information. And hey, Wings fans, yes, today is the final regular season home game for the Wings during 2013. But if the Wings reach the playoffs and host playoff games, you got to get your tickets, and the ticket info will be announced on the Wings website. For all of that, you just go to wingslax.com. And yes, still theoretically possible. We do want to say that. I've looked over the statistics and talked it over with the NLL. It is possible for the Wings to possibly host a game in the playoffs, so make sure you keep it locked to wingslax.com as you see Chopper down on the field, getting it done for another season. Chopper having another great year leading the Wings Army in the stands near the penalty box. And I tell you what, if you're a visiting player and you come to the box and Chopper's in your face, you do not want any part of that. Toronto has the ball off the reset. Here's a shot that goes wide of the net. But I tell you what, LeBlanc had a good look at it. Find himself with an open lane to the crease. Numbers for Philadelphia the other way. Shot save made. Kyle Hartzell takes that one as he tries to go back-to-back weeks with breakaway shots. But the save made by Rose. Now Toronto's going to get the ball the other way. Billings has the ball near side as Toronto gets a change as we approach 4 minutes to go in the first half. Billings has the ball again. Don't know that pass was intended for Doyle, but he picks it off anyway. Doyle has the ball. Works one-on-one of Sweeney up top to Billings, a 5 on the clock. Here's a shot. Oh, Miller never saw it, but he was in position and made the save. Miller with a very late reaction. I don't think he reacted until he got hit. Now over up top to Sweeney. Breaking in, shoots. Oh, he hit the crossbar. Sweeney was out there on offense, and he dove down low, beat Nick Rose to the far side post, but it bounces off and comes back out. However, Philadelphia gets the rebound and a fresh 30. Second time today, Philadelphia has hit the iron. 15 on the shot clock with Jordan Hall out there with Ross. Far side to Westervelt, up top to Crowley. Crowley now to Ross. However, he was tied up in the crease, couldn't get a shot off. That's going to fall harmlessly away, and Gamble pushes the ball back upfield for Toronto. Low-scoring first half. You never know with these two teams. They can put up 15 to 14 games. They can put up 8 to 7 games. You never know. That's what makes this rivalry really interesting, because every game is so different. Colin Doyle, nice behind-the-back flip intended for Hellier. However, it misses, and Crotty's knocked down in the play. Philadelphia's gained possession. Oh, no, there should be a illegal screen, and indeed it is, as Philadelphia players checked into the boards. To be honest, surprised that's not a penalty as well on Behrens for boarding as well, but Philadelphia will retain possession. Mundorf out there for Philadelphia along with Rabel and Westervelt. Pass intended for Rabel goes awry, and Toronto picks it back up. Greer has it for Toronto, pushing the action over to Edwards. Excuse me, check that. That's Sandy Chapman, assistant captain out there on the field for Toronto. Chapman comes off in transition as the ball's flipped over to Billings. Billings with some room. He fires. Right shoulder saved by Miller. Rebound into the near side boards. Picked up by Buchanan. He's able to roll out of a double team nicely and get the pass upfield for Hartzell, who will get it across the timeline. 8 seconds to get the ball across the timeline in the NLL, and Hartzell did that nicely. Rabel flips it up top to Ross. Now near side to Jordan Hall. Hall moving in. Player's lost his stick. That's a Toronto player as well. So room. Here's a shot. Oh, it was tipped away. Had Kevin Crowley alone in the slot. However, his stick got checked and he wasn't able to get a shot behind it. Toronto moving upfield with numbers. They got 3-on-2 if they hurry. Patrick Merrill moving into the slot. Bounce shot. What a save made by Miller. Miller read the bounce shot, was able to slide into the middle of the goal and deflect it. 27-20 shots on goals. We'll get down to 90 seconds left to go here in the first half. 4-3 shots on goal. Brody Merrill stays out for this offensive possession along with Rabel and Westervelt. Mundorf out there as well. And I believe Crowley's in the slot. He is. Merrill near side. Trying to direct with 8. He draws a double team up top to Mundorf. Far side. Here's a shot by Westervelt. Save, but the loose rebound comes right to him. Fresh 30 from Philadelphia. Moving inside again is Westervelt. Can't get the shot in. Mundorf has it. Gets held briefly. Fans want to call. Now dragged down. Fans still want to call. Mundorf behind the back passes it and somehow finds its way over to the far side to Paul Rabel. Rabel dives down low, brings it back up top to Buchanan. 10 on the shot clock. Buchanan rolling inside. He shoots and scores! Kevin Buchanan gets goal number 2. 47.1 seconds left to go, and the Wings have tied it up 4-4. Lots of shot opportunities there for Philadelphia, but it's finally Buchanan who's able to find some room and dive inside. Buchanan gets number 2 on the Philadelphia Wings' 22nd shot of the half. Makes it a 4-4 game. Looking towards the bench to see if Toronto would possibly ask the referees for a replay, but it doesn't look like they're going to do so. Inside of 2 minutes, that's a referee discretion. From the angles we're seeing on the CBS Sports Network, very close.
Score with number 27, Kevin Buchanan. His second on the bench, number 9, Paul Ray. Number 2, Brendan Porto. Time to goal, 14-12.
As we take a look at the replay, as Toronto has won the faceoff, they have the ball under 30 seconds. Buchanan's goal, we got an additional angle from our friends at CBS Sports Network. Buchanan really tiptoed the line. In fact, I reacted like a fan for a minute. It was such a beautiful dive by Buchanan. 7 on the shot clock. Doyle shoots it wide. It's a save made by Miller, but now Toronto has it. They will call timeout. Shot clock has expired. Shot clock has been turned off. So Toronto's going to hold it for a last shot. It'll be interesting to see if they pull Nick Rose here. 15.3 left to go here in the first half. 4-4 your score. We'll keep the action right here on the NLL Network. Dave Walls here from the Wells Fargo Center. Get shots on goal 28-22 in favor of the Toronto Rock. Kevin Buchanan, we got an additional replay from our friends at CBS Sports Network. Really tiptoed the line. We haven't seen much in the way of down low crease play by Buchanan, but it was a really nifty one that time. And finally was able to sneak it in past Nick Rose. And so far, 4-4 is your score. And I think we have to talk a lot about the defense of Philadelphia really putting a lot of pressure on Toronto. They did it early, had a bit of a lapse near the beginning of the second, but have rebounded very nicely, have not allowed a lot of great shots for them to get in on Brandon Miller. And to Miller's credit, the shots that Toronto has gotten, including a couple of nice one-timers from Colin Doyle, Miller's been able to read even the bounce shots and make effective slides and stops. So we come back to the field. 15.3 seconds are going to be left on the clock. Shot clock is expired, and Toronto is going with the empty net. So we will have 6-on-5 action for Toronto. Here we go. Ball is in play. Bearns and Billings are out there along with Doyle. They're going to hold it for last shot. Down to 8. Billings moves in behind the back to Bearns. He creeps in now with 3. 2 will have to take it, trying to get them to Sanderson, and they're not going to get a shot in on goal as Billings shoots it, but too late as the clock has expired on the first half. Philadelphia, the fans giving their Wings a standing ovation as they go off to the locker room, and at the end of the first half of play, it's Toronto 4 and the Philadelphia Wings 4. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Welcome back, everybody. It's halftime here on the Lacrosse Network as the Philadelphia Wings and the Toronto Rock are tied up 4-4. Hi, everybody. Dave Walls here. My producer today, John Barchard. Thanks so much for all of your hard work this season, and thank you for spending your season here on the Lacrosse Network on YouTube, everybody, as we had a good game here at the Wells Fargo Center, tied up 4-4. Revitalized Wings defense has been primarily the big story here as the big guns for Philadelphia, and Crowley, Westervelt, and Rabel have not scored a goal yet. We'll run down the score sheet here in just a second, but it's been the secondary scores for Philadelphia stepping up and doing the scoring, as well as the transition game holding up very nicely for Philadelphia. And really, we've got to talk about the defense a little bit more. Let's go run through the first quarter here. Josh Sanderson for Toronto, the story in the first quarter, getting goals at 6:19 and again at 11:39. Both of them very pretty goals. The second one, a nice bounce shot from the outside as Sanderson's getting drilled. He's able to somehow find the ability to get the stick work off and is able to bounce out one. At that point, 2-0. Kevin Buchanan gets his first goal, an assist from Kevin Crowley. That one coming at 13:01, and that's how the first period would end. 2-1. Moving towards the second, Jordan Hall for Philadelphia gets a beauty in there at 54 seconds. That makes it a tie game, 2-2. Toronto would then go on a 2-goal run of their own at 1:48 with Bill Greer. And then the power play goal, the only power play of the day, went to Toronto, and so far they've converted as Casey Byrnes got one at 4:07 from Doyle and Billings. However, Philadelphia would find themselves tying the game back up on the 2-row run that ended the first half. The first coming from rookie Mike Manley, who gets NLL goal number 2, found himself with a breakaway goal last week against Minnesota, coming off a Drew Westervelt shot, and Manley picked up the rebound, was able to dive in. This goal maybe even prettier as Manley finds himself set up by the captain, Brody Merrill, and really with some nifty footwork down low by the crease, is able to dump it in at 10:20, making it 4-3. And then Kevin Buchanan, off a beauty of a feed by Rabel and Mundorf, is able to dive down low in the crease, and at 14:12, Buchanan sends this one into the locker room, tied up 4-4. Running down the stat sheets overall, for the Rock, Colin Doyle 2 assists, Hellier with 2 assists, Billings and Blaine Manning with an assist as well, and you also find Edwards with an assist as well. Josh Sanderson with 2 goals, Greer with a goal, and Casey Byrnes with a goal as well. For the Philadelphia Wings, Mike Manley, Jordan Hall, both with goals, Buchanan with 2. Assists on the afternoon coming from Mundorf, Rabel, Crowley, and Brody Merrill with 2. Brandon Miller already having a spectacular game, 24 saves in net for the Philadelphia goalie as he passes 4,000 career saves on the day. Congratulations to B. Mill for that historic milestone there. For Toronto, 18 saves so far for Nick Rose. Hasn't faced a lot of tough shots, and when he has, he's been inconsistent on his saves. When he's faced some tough shots, Philadelphia has been able to slip a couple past him. So a lot of action still left to go in this matchup. Inside the faceoff circle, Philadelphia holding their own right now, missing both C.J. Costabile and Jeff Reynolds, who normally do damage in the circle for Philadelphia. So far, Paul Rabel is 1-for-1 in the faceoff circle, and 1 for 2 in the faceoff circle, I should say. And Pat Heim, 3 for 8, good enough for 40% for Philadelphia. The team of Patrick Merrill and Sandy Chapman holding it down at 60% for Toronto. That will do it for the halftime recap. It's 4-4 right now, Toronto and Philadelphia. We encourage you to stay right where you are and enjoy this Lacrosse Network look at the Philadelphia Wings back on opening day. Oh, it seems so long ago, but it was just a few months ago. Take a look at Wings All Access here at the Wells Fargo Center. We'll enjoy and see you in the second half.
The Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia's home for their beloved Flyers, 76ers, and the Philadelphia Wings. The Wings franchise have been with the National Lacrosse League since its conception. Tonight, a new Wings squad will begin their 27th season in Philadelphia and look for success against the Bandits of Buffalo. The Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia's home for their beloved Flyers, 76ers, and the Philadelphia Wings. The Wings franchise have been with the National Lacrosse League since its conception. Tonight, a new Wings squad will begin their 27th season in Philadelphia and look for success against the Bandits of Buffalo.
chat.
Start ramping it up right now. All right, hey, first step tonight. Here we go. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Well, photos, eh? Yeah.
Minutes before game time, Coach Meridian preps his team for the night.
Guys, let's take this opportunity. Let's take this opportunity tonight and let's show everybody in this locker room how we can be a team. You know, we talked about that level of leadership that we have, our captains, that whole second level of leadership. Everybody in this locker room is a leader, guys. Let them take penalties. Let's be smart. But also, if anybody with anybody in this club, we can stick up for each other because that's what they're going to do. And we can grab shirts. Okay, boys? Team tough, play smart, and let's go out there and be athletes. Let's be athletes tonight. Let's go!
Let's go, bring it up. Let's go, boys. Let's go, Red. Come on now. Nobody's accepting the thing in this club here except the guys in the room, alright? Let's think everyone take notice tonight, boys. Let's go. Race up 3. 1, 2, 3. Race!
Let's go.
Now.
Believe in each other, fellas. Believe in each other.
Early in the game, the Bandits' physical play tested the Wings and forced them to show restraint.
Police violation on to Drew Westerfeld, but he was hammered hard afterwards by Mark Stainhouse, and it looks like Stainhouse will be going to the box for that move. And Westerfeld back down just to the left side of the Buffalo net on his stomach, not moving, so medical attention in force now with 10 minutes and 57 seconds left to play. We'll see what goes up onto the penalty clock here at the Wells Fargo Center as Westerveld picks himself back up.
With restraint came the chance to capitalize, and an ensuing series of power plays gave the Wings an edge.
Kevin Buchanan with a shot, score! That's led over to Jordan Hall. They have captured their sizable lead with the power play tonight specifically, and they're working on it again with a score. Brody Merrill got a lead pass with the man advantage, and it a lead. 9-4 Philadelphia here in the third quarter of play. Dane Smith in over the line for the Bandits from the far side. He's got an open lane, takes the shot, he scores! Dane Smith.
The Bandits continued to fight, but the Wings kept them always at a distance.
Good check down by Buffalo's defense on one of the Philadelphia players, and that obviously stops the play. That was by Luke Wild. Philadelphia going back onto the power play. Well, two Buffalo players now going to the penalty box. Mike McNamara and Jimmy Purvis going to the box. Tonight from the Wells Fargo Center. Shots on goal, officially now 60. Philadelphia to the Bandits 41.
For the young team, tonight's win will act as reassurance that success in this league is within their reach. For the veterans, it's the first step of a long season, one in which every play and every shift will matter in the long run. For the city, the win tonight is hope that 2013 will bode well for their team.
Not only 7, we got 13 new guys on this club. 13 new players and 7 rookies. That's a huge, huge step up, character win for all you guys. We are so proud of you right now, and everybody in this town is proud of you right now. This is a real big for this franchise to have this home win, guys. A couple of things to add to B. Composure, number 1. We controlled our emotions, didn't we? Even when they got penalties, we got caught up in a little bit, and then we really kept our composure and our emotions. Good work, guys. Unbelievable.
Hey, let's build on it now, boys. Fucking build on it.
Let's use another one.
All right. Bring it up and let's put on some techno. Hey, boys, it's a game of runs, and we didn't fucking give them any runs, eh? We answered every one of their goals. Nice job, bro. You're right.
Hey, it's just one game, but it's a great start. It's a great start and a lot to build on. And wins in this league are hard to come by, right? And it was great effort.
I mean, are we kidding me right now? You really think that you being on the phone and not listening to me is going to help you? No, sir.
Hi there. Dave Walls here at the Wells Fargo Center. Welcome back for the second half of action. Philadelphia and Toronto tied up 4-4. Fans, want to remind you about Wings All Access. It's our NLL radio show where we talk everything Philadelphia Wings. Listen to that on NLL Radio. Did you know about NLL Radio? Oh my goodness, there are so many great shows there. It offers the best online radio coverage of the National Lacrosse League. You can listen to them on your smartphone. Just go to the TuneIn app. That's T-U-N-E, like tune, I-N, tune in. Download that. You find NLL Radio on the More Sports section. You find all the shows playing on a continuous loop, so you don't have to go, gee, what do I want to listen to? It's all there. You're going to hear from the coaches. You're going to hear great shows like Boxela Beat with Steven Stamp. You're going to hear Off the Crossbar with Teddy Jenner. You're going to hear all sorts of great shows about all the teams. And John and myself, we also do Wings All Access. I hope you'll download that. We're also available on iTunes as well as far as Wings All Access goes. But plenty of great shows there. You can just go to NLL.com/radio and you can find all the shows at any time you'd like on NLL Radio. Well, Dave Walls here as the teams are coming back out for the second half. As you're seeing the first half highlights live on the scoreboard right now, here they come in, and lots of good ones here as the Philadelphia and Toronto tied up 4-4. As you see there, the nice stick work of Brandon Miller making the saves. Philadelphia with 22 shots on goals. It means 18 saves for Nick Rose. And Brandon Miller passing 4,000 career saves on his career is 13-year career here in the National Lacrosse League. He's come up with 24 saves so far for Philadelphia. Got a good second half coming up, and it'll be interesting to see if the big guns of Philadelphia, meaning Crowley, Rabel, and Drew Westervelt, can come alive. They've gotten good scoring from the other people who don't normally score, but they need to score as well. If the big guns can come alive, we can really see this Wings team explode and really take one against Toronto. And that said, Toronto certainly can't be happy with 4 goals as well. Nick Rose has done enough to keep them in this game. Face-off wise, Toronto's won 60%, but the crew of Rabel and Pat Heim are doing a good job as well, winning 40% as well. Both Jeff Reynolds and CJ Costabile have been scratched from the lineup for today. And we've seen the Wings defense do a very good job as well, really tightening up and not allowing a lot of great scoring opportunities. The few times that they've collapsed really has led to a couple of the Toronto goals. Got a media timeout on the floor. We're just waiting for the face-off to happen. Want to thank our friends at CBS Sports Network for doing a great job on the broadcast today as Lauren Gardner down on the floor. And we've also got Brent Stover doing the play-by-play in the booth. Hope you're enjoying their coverage as well. If you're watching this, you're either watching it internationally live or you're watching us on the replay on the Lacrosse Network, and we appreciate you doing that as well because, hey, spread the word on YouTube. Doesn't take any additional time for you to take a link, take this video, and put it right on a friend's wall and say, hey, you got to check out these games. This league is awesome. Face-off finally underway. The Wings have won it. They go left to right as it's Sweeney who gets it. Check that. The Wings will be going right to left as Sweeney had to backtrack for a moment off the face-off, but now he does that. And Crowley will get the ball to start off the second half. He's near side of Rabel to his right. Rabel sets up a screen. Crowley tries to push his way inside. Can't do so. He'll flip it to Mundorf. Now back over to Rabel. 10 on the shot clock. Rabel in traffic, rolling, shoots. Ooh, Nick Rose got the shaft of the stick on it. Not the cleanest save, but it's enough to get the job done. And they're able to flip it out to Jesse Gamble. So quick 1 and out for Philadelphia as we start the second half. Tied up 4-4. Stefan LeBlanc out there for Toronto. Toronto holding, letting the play happen in front of them. Now Billings has it, working against Brody Merrill up top. Here's a shot, goes low. Beautiful stick save made by Miller. No traffic in front. Miller had a good sight line on that as he flips it over to Mike Manley, who's making this goal-scoring thing a habit. 2 straight weeks for the rookie defenseman as he flips it over to Westervelt, and Manley will come off. Westervelt over to Buchanan. Now back over to Westervelt. Now Crowley has it near side. Has a lane to run inside. Now rolls, but an illegal screen. Westervelt gets called on that as Greer is down and taking his time. He's limping, a little sore and walking up gingerly towards the Toronto bench, but he appears to be okay. Westervelt, a big boy there in the middle, and certainly when he lays down a screen, people go flying. That time, however, just called for the illegal one. 10 on the shot clock. Here's a shot. Save made by Miller as Billings on the far side. Sanderson picks it up with a fresh 30 for Toronto. Right into the slot to Bearns. One-timer. Beautiful play by Philadelphia in order to make the save, and Crotty will push the action upfield for the Wings. Mundorf streaking far side, but they'll wait for the full transition, the full offensive crew to come out in transition. Rabel out there. Now over to Mundorf. Mundorf wants it down low. He rolls off a check from Stephen Hoare up top to Jordan Hall. Now back to Mundorf. 10 on the shot clock. Rabel directly to his left. Mundorf loses it. He's checked away. Crowley tries to pick this up as well. Can't do it as Rose had his stick shaft right on it. He picks it up and flips it over. Rainbow passes it over to Jesse Gamble. 31-23 shots on goal here. Toronto letting the full offensive unit come out. The captain, Colin Doyle, shoots and scores. Colin Doyle was working off of Brody Merrill and saw enough traffic in front of him. He just decided to pull up and shoot, and he launches one low. Almost a nonchalant goal, but Doyle gets the job done and puts Toronto back up top 5-4. As you take a look here, sometimes you just get overpowered, and that's what happened as Colin Doyle just launched a rocket right here down low. And yeah, I don't know that Brandon Miller had a good sight line on it as he dove too low and it went over his knee.
Scored by number 7, Colin Doyle. The assist, number 10, Rob Hellier. Time of the goal, 2:34.
So Colin Doyle's goal at 2:34 puts Toronto up back into the lead by a score of 5-4. Colin Doyle inching his way ever closer to 1,000 points as a Rock coming into today's game. He needed 20 to pass the 1,000 point mark as a Toronto Rock. It should be noted he's already over 1,200 as an overall NLL player. So Colin Doyle looking to not only notch his own NLL Hall of Fame resume, but certainly as one of the best Rock players of all time as well. 15 on the shot clock for the Wings as Westervelt flips it to Crowley. Crowley work on one-on-one against Stephen Hoare. Now here's a shot save made as it was Ross on the far side, I should say. However, errant pass, and Crowley's able to pick it up, and a fresh 30 for Philadelphia. Rabel comes back out onto the field as it's Crowley and Rabel with Ross, Jordan Hall out there. Pass goes in back of the boards. Ross picks it up. One-timer to Crowley. He tries a behind-the-back flip that misses the net. Philadelphia is still able to control with Ross. 10 on the shot clock. Ross now works his way inside. Gets the shot on. Oh, it beat Rose to the backside. Ross tries to push it in. Rose was unable to control that one and actually beat him. Just didn't roll past the crease line. So Ross with good awareness and try to poke it back into the net, but the defense gets it's in there and helps the goalie out, and Toronto's able to escape and hold on to that one-goal lead. Garrett Billings out there as Marshall comes off in transition. Up top to Bearns, out near side to Doyle. Doyle rolls off a check from Manley, now flips it over to Sanderson. Beautiful save by Miller. Really a nifty pass from Doyle to Sanderson, like a one-arm underhanded flip, and did it very nicely, but Miller followed the play the whole way and was right in position to make the save. Westervelt looking to tie the game up are the Wings with McClellan out there. Brody Merrill stays out in offense with Mundorf. Mundorf rolls on the far side, but Doyle right in his face. He'll flip it over nearly into the stands, but Rabel's able to get that one back. 7 on the shot clock. Rabel can't find any room. Tries to roll inside. Now spins with 3, 2, 1. Here's a shot and score! Brendan Mundorf gets the pass in the slot and is able to just beat the shot clock. And with 10:15 to go in the third, it's a tie game again, 5-5. Set up by a nifty pass by Paul Rabel. He drew the double team that gave Mundorf just enough room to receive the one-handed pass and then had the awareness that the shot clock was winding down and finally was able to bury into the net. It's tied up at 5. Only Mundorf's 5th goal on the season because he missed most of the season with injuries, but I tell you what, good to see one of the bigger scorers get on the board for the Wings.
Brendan Mundorf. It's just number 9, Paul Rabel. And number 17, Brody Merrill. Time of the goal, 4:45.
Face-off violation against the Wings, so Toronto's going to go ahead and take possession here. Rabel and Brody Merrill also get the assist at 4:45. Sanderson has the ball for Toronto as they bring it in. Working their way in as Bearns can't find room. Excuse me, check that. That was Billings. Pass goes there, but LeBlanc's able to pick it up far side. He's been quiet so far in the day, but he rolls in. Here's a shot. Crease violation as Sweeney works on him and dumps him into the back of the net. Stoppage of play is going to take us to a media timeout as head referee Marco Donio is there to make sure no tempers get flared up, but LeBlanc appears to be okay, and the players head off to the bench. We've got a media timeout, 9:49 left to go here in the third. It's a tie game, 5-5. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. .49 left to go in the third. It's a 5-5 game. Dave Walls here from the Wells Fargo Center. Fans, tonight's game brought to you in part by Reebok. Redefine your game with Reebok's new Black line. Reebok Black was designed and engineered for the elite lacrosse player. Reebok's Black line features a lightweight and minimalistic design with carbon light technology. Performance-driven, technology-driven, NLL proven. Find all the new Reebok lacrosse gear online. Just go to ReebokBlack.com. Well, Dave Walls here for the Wells Fargo Center. 5-5 your score. Shots on goal right now. Toronto up 33-26 in that category. But you want to talk about quality scoring opportunities. Philadelphia has gotten a few more here in the third. Toronto has gotten a couple as well, but Brandon Miller, again, standing on his head so far with 28 saves for Philadelphia, keeping the Wings in this one 5-5. And both teams, again, inconsistent on their transition game. We've seen a lot of unforced turnovers, not only from the Wings, but from Toronto. We're not really used to seeing that. And if you're a Toronto fan, win or lose, you can't be happy about that. Yes, you've got home field advantage, but when you go into a bye week, you would at least like to be playing a crisper game, so when you come out, you've got that confidence that, hey, we know how to get the job done. And as we come back to action, Stephen LeBlanc's going to get a 2-minute penalty for goaltender interference on that dive play. So this is actually going to give Philadelphia their first power play of the day as we get the action right back out on the field here. As now the Wings Army going to go try and take the lead back. We've seen an inconsistent power play, to say the least, from Philadelphia, but let's see if they get the job done here. Crowley has the ball to Hall. Mundorf to his right. Offense had gotten a little bunched up near the top. They'll flip it low to Ross. Now up top again to Hall. He's got room to shoot. Puts that one wide, but Hall's able to get it again. However, only 5 on the shot clock. Going to have to hurry. Down low to Ross. He takes it. Shot save made by Rose. Rebound comes to Jesse Gamble. He finds traffic. So Woods now has the ball. They're going to have to hurry to get it across the timeline, but they do it at the 7-second mark. So now Toronto in a penalty kill situation will try to burn off as much of this clock as they can. Again, Stephen LeBlanc, before the media timeout, was called for goaltender interference on his dive. So Philadelphia getting their first power play of the day. Pass down low intended for, I believe, Behrens. He was tied up with Hartzell, and so Behrens falls in the crease. Crease violation. Now Philadelphia come back the other way. Already 1 minute gone on the power play. Crowley. Tight defense put on by Greer. He'll flip it over to Rabel. Rabel and Crowley tried to use a little deception there. No one's buying it, so it comes over to Buchanan. He just creeps in to Ross. Now back over to Buchanan. He goes far side to Westervelt, but intercepted. 2-on-1, come the Rock the other way. Greer now gets it over far side. Here's a shot and save made. Actually, was the shot even... Did the shot get off? No, the shot did not get off. As, boy, I tell you what, Edwards was so good at that, he fooled me, especially by the way Miller reacted. Edwards faked the shot, never got it out of his stick, decided just to kill off 30 more seconds, and I tell you what, not a bad idea, as there's only 15 seconds left to go on the penalty to LeBlanc. Shot clock expires 2-1, and now the Wings will have it for one last run up the field. Sweeney has it. Sweeney throws it up across the timeline. Philadelphia will have to hurry if they want the power play tally with 2-1, and we are back to regular strength. LeBlanc back out on the field. It's 5-on-5. To Rabel. Now he'll go far side to Mundorf with room. He shoots high. Save made by Nick Rose. And Philadelphia officially goes 0 for 1 on the power play. Had a couple decent scoring opportunities, but no real pressure foot in front of Rose. Now break the other way. Shot by Colin Doyle. Save made by Brandon Miller. He's able to control the rebound and gets the long pass out to Brody Merrill. Captain calling out shots on the offense. Now he flips it off in transition, as I believe that is Buchanan who comes out, and it is. Buchanan holds. At the moment, only 4 in the field for Philadelphia. Now they get Westerveld out there. Buchanan rolls, fires it to Westerveld. Westy thinks about the low to high shot outside, gets stick checked away by Edwards. Gets held for a minute by Edwards as well, but the ball's going to come loose, and Greer picks up the loose ball. Turned over by Philadelphia, and numbers the other way for Toronto, 2-on-2. Doyle will instead pull back here. 6:49 in a very tight game. Don't know anybody called 5-5 late in the third, but that's what we've got here. Shots on goal, 34-28, favoring the Rock. Sanderson with the ball. Got the first 2 goals, has been quiet since then. Now back up top to Sanderson. Tried to fire it into the slot. Nobody home. LeBlanc can't pick it up, and the shot clock will expire. Shot clock violation for Toronto. Sweeney will pick it up, and now the ball back in play as we get under 6.5 to go here in the third. A win today by Philadelphia clinches their playoff berth. They can still clinch one even if they don't win. If Buffalo loses against the Washington Stealth, Toronto looking to clinch home field advantage for their entire playoff run as Rabel flips it back out to Crowley. Nice move. He shoots. Save made by Rose. Rebound, though, comes right back to Philadelphia. Fresh 30 as Mundorf picks it up. This is Toronto's last regular season game. They're done. They don't play in Week 16, and certainly the number one overall seed would be an additional week's worth of rest would be very sweet for Rock fans as Mundorf again shoots the bounce shot. That goes wide. Stephen Hoare gets a nice check on Jordan Hall. However, pass intercepted. Here's a 1-0 for Gamble. Breaking late off the bench as a defenseman. Gamble shoots. It's in between the pads, and Miller almost rolls across the goal line. Philadelphia catches a break there as Gamble wasn't able to get the ball into his stick cleanly. Otherwise, he probably has an easier breakaway. Crowley has it, drawing the double team as Sandy Chapman playing very tight on him. Crowley has not found a lot of room today. McClellan and Buchanan out there along with the rest of the belt. They go far side to Ross. Ross draws the double team, moves inside behind the back shot. Save, but as the save is made, Ross falls into the crease, and a crease violation against the Wings. Back and forth action. No one able to find rope in the last couple of minutes, and we're still tied up at 5. Approaching a media timeout here as we're under 5 minutes. That pass for Doyle goes high and wide and picked up by Brody Merrill. Merrill pushes the action. 4-on-3 for the Wings if they want to push it. He said Brody Merrill will he deeks and dives a couple times of LeBlanc on him, but eventually dumps it off to Rabel. Rabel with traffic in front of him. Pulls it over to the near side boards. Draws a double team. However, now we're going to have penalties as it looks like Stephen Hoare and Joel White are going to go off for roughing calls. Check that. It looks like Colin Doyle's going off to the box. I thought he pointed to 44, but indeed. Well, I tell you what, we got a media timeout. Let's sort out these penalties, and we'll call them when we come back. 5-5 your score, 4:41 to third. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network. Welcome back to the Wells Fargo Center. 4:41 with left here in the third. It's a 5-5 game. Fans, you can watch the NLL live on CBS Sports Network, live national broadcast each week for the remainder of the regular season and the playoffs going all the way up, including the championship game. The next broadcast Saturday, April 20th, the Buffalo Bandits. Banditland will come alive at least one more time here in the regular season as they host the Rochester Nighthawks. That's a bloody rivalry, and it'll be a good one to watch live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's on Saturday, April 20th. To find the cable, to find the channel on your cable or satellite system, visit CBSSportsNetwork.com. And fans, don't forget about ticket information. The Toronto Rock, they're hosting a first-round playoff game. We know that for sure. That'll be Sunday, March 28th. Still don't know who their opponent is, but of course, for all the tickets information and game information, just go to TorontoRock.com. Remember, if your Rock win today, they clinch home field throughout the playoffs and championship game. And trust me, you want to be there for all of those games. And Wings fans, hey, the Wings fans, this is the final regular season home game in 2013. But the Wings could reach the playoffs, could get a home game. You want to make sure you're here for that as well. And so we'll get the penalties.
Fill up number 22.
So what it comes down to, sorry about that, that's my fault. It's Cronny, and it's going to be Doyle for both get 2 for roughing. So we got some 4-on-4 action. They're going to keep it 5-on-5 as Westervelt winds one and goes wide of the net. Rabel picks it back up in traffic, shot into the chest of Nick Rose. He makes the save. So certainly a bigger blow for Toronto, admittedly, as losing the captain, Colin Doyle, for a 2-minute roughing call. Shots on goal, 35-31. Toronto leads that, but Philadelphia's been clawing their way back. Sanderson shoots, save made by Miller, got stuck in the pads, but he's able to claw that one out, and B. Miller gets save number 31 on the afternoon. Still a 5-5 game under 4 minutes left to go here in the third. Joel White flips it off to Mundorf in transition. Mike McClellan with the ball near side. McClellan, veteran, midseason acquisition, brought over and has gotten a couple goals for the Wings this season. Jordan Hall has the ball far side. Mundorf to his left. Flips it over to Mundorf. Mundorf shoots long distance, goes wide. However, rebound shot, and hits the post. Mike McClellan found himself on the doorstep. Beat Nick Rose with a dunk over the shoulder, but was unable to connect as he hit the crossbar. Now a good check by Jordan Hall, knocking down Sandy Chapman. Toronto stuck in its own end. 5, 6, 7. They just get the ball across midfield to beat the 8-second violation. So Philadelphia getting a couple more good scoring opportunities here and have tightened up on defense, and Toronto's really struggled to get any momentum here in the third. Still tied up 5-5. Sanderson over to LeBlanc, working one-on-one against Sweeney. Now kicks it up top to Billings. Tries to pass far side to Manning. However, shot clock violation. Manning didn't realize how low the clock was, and Pat Himes able to tie him up long enough to prevent any sort of shot going on. Brody Merrill brings it back all across the line for Philadelphia. As we were mentioning, Wings fans, if the Wings are able to make any home playoff games, just get your tickets and info at wingslax.com. Far side to Buchanan, already with 2 on the day to Mundorf. Now over to Rabel. Rabel with room to move. He moves in and scores. No goal. Crease violation. Crease violation called. Coaches want to see a replay. Rabel thinks he had it. Plays continuing down at the other end with Jesse Gamble. Coaches have 20 seconds to challenge as that shot goes wide and hits a crossbar, bouncing into the stands. Looks like they're not going to replay it as there's a dive, and yet actually I believe it's going to be, let's see. No, actually I'm going to say off the replay, I think that's a good no-goal call as Rabel's foot, it did hit the crease there. So Johnny Meridian choosing to keep the flag in his pocket, and he does so. That shot goes blocked by Hartzell. He's done that a couple times today, taking a couple good hard shots to keep this score 5-5. Wings of numbers the other way. They'll pull back as Hartzell brings it up across in transition. A player who brought over from the Washington Stealth. Hartzell had a bit of a shaky start to the season, buried an empty netter in the opener, but really we hadn't called his name much, and he's really been doing a bang-up job here in the second half of the season as a lot of these new acquisitions have really started to gel. Now here's a shot, but that'll be a clear crease violation. Now a tie-up and back of the net as Mundorf is back there with Chapman, and also Casey Byrne's got a late shot in there. Physical action picking back up here in the third as both teams sense this is going to be a very tight game. Under 90 seconds to go here in the third. Still 5-5 your score. Neither team able to really break this one open. LeBlanc out there with Sanderson. Sanderson in traffic, shoots it wide. Rebound's going to come all the way back up top. No reset of the shot clock, though, so 7 there. Sanderson tips it over to LeBlanc. That one's saved made by Miller. Rebound comes loose, but Brody Merrill with great awareness is able to extend and pull the ball back in. Philadelphia brings it up across the timeline, approaching 1 minute to go in the third. 1 minute to go in the third. Shots and goal 38-32 in favor of the Rock. Rabel up top to Westerveld. Westerveld just unable to find any room today as they've been doing a bang-up job of defense on him. To Buchanan. Now he tried to hit Westerveld, who was in back of the net. Great idea, just unable to control the pass. Turnover. Now Toronto comes back the other way, pushing numbers 4-on-2 if they hurry. Now here's a shot. Big save by Miller. Rebound shot by Gamble, and another save made by Brandon Miller. 2 in a row. We've got a 2-second differential between shot and game clock. Rose is going to stay out on the field for this series. Was looking to see if they'd try to pull him. They did so at the end of the second when Toronto was unable to get a shot off. 15 on the game clock, 12 on the shot clock. Toronto basically holding for last shot at this point. They'll flip it over to Billings, far side. Billings works on a roll. Has Manny all over him. No room. 2-1. LeBlanc shoots. Save made. 2-1. And Philadelphia's going to control it. And that will do it for the end of the third quarter. A tight defensive battle here in the third quarter. It's an old school defensive struggle as both teams can't find rope. And at the end of 3, it's the Toronto Rock 5, the Philadelphia Wings 5. This is the National Lacrosse League on the Lacrosse Network.
SMS alerts are the best way to stay up to date with the latest videos from the Lacrosse Network. Be the first to know about all of our live games, giveaways, and videos by getting TLN alerts straight to your phone. To sign up, just click the phone icon in the top right corner of our channel and input your mobile phone number. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Network for the best in lacrosse content.
Honey, you do me wrong, but
Getting ready to start an exciting fourth quarter of action here at the Wells Fargo Center. Your score, Toronto Rock 5, Philadelphia Wings 5. Fans, this copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League. Well, hi everybody, Dave Walls here, and I tell you what, we've been talking during the break about what an exciting game this is, and I tell you what, if you would have told me that this would have been a 5-5 battle going into the fourth, I don't know that I would have believed you. Certainly, we had a low-scoring battle back in Week 3 as Toronto and Philadelphia were really knotted up late in that one, but again, a low-scoring game that the Wings won 8-7, and certainly we appear to be heading towards that one as well. But right now, offensive momentum has been hard to find. The Wings in the second half of the third were able to get more pressure in front of Nick Rose, save a crease violation or two here, or a hit post. The Wings did that a couple of times. Really, I think Philadelphia got the better scoring opportunities. For Toronto, inconsistent play when they have gotten breakaways. Again, the Wings relied on their big man in net, Brandon Miller, who has done it all so far today. 36 saves in net for the Wings netminder. Lots more action here on the NLL network all weekend long. In fact, Minnesota and Colorado, as you can see on the screen, play at 9 o'clock tonight. Rochester and Calgary at 9. Buffalo and Washington. If Buffalo loses, the Wings are in the playoffs automatically. And then one Sunday matinee out at Rexall Place as Rochester and Edmonton battle at 4 o'clock. So fourth quarter getting ready to go underway as we've got a face-off getting ready to happen. The Wings will be going left to right, again wearing their red and black uniforms. Toronto wearing the white, blue, and red trim. Toronto, you know, it's funny. We're talking about offensive momentum, and the Wings have had more of it here in the third. I'm a little bit surprised, especially hearing the way Toronto was talking today coming into the arena about how much they wanted this game. It would take a lot of pressure off. Maybe they're feeling the pressure a little bit more than maybe they thought they would. I mean, this game does, maybe in the long sense of the word, maybe it doesn't mean everything like maybe the way it does to Philadelphia right now. But again, you want to take the pressure off yourself, and maybe the pressure's been too much for this Toronto team coming off a close escape against Toronto in order to clinch the Eastern Division last week. Toronto's just been unable to get any sort of extended momentum going. We'll see what they do here in the fourth. Philadelphia wins the ball. We're back to live action. Rabel has the ball near side. He's able to run it back of the net. He dunks it in and scores! Paul Rabel circles the net, puts it in air gate style over the net, and right away, 21 seconds into the fourth, it's the Wings who strike first and come out with the lead 6-5. Oh, baby, he knows he got that one. In fact, as you'll see on the replay, Paul Gate goes airborne, dunks it in, then looks at head referee Mark Gardonio and says, that one was good, right? Yes, it is, Paul. No worries about that one, as that's going to be Rabel's 17th goal in the season there, and he gets high fives coming to the bench. Rabel wasn't initially even expecting the pass here, but it hit him flush in the stick.
Scorer number 9, Paul Rabel. Is this number 26, Drew Westervelt? And number 2, Brendan Mundorf. Time of the goal, 21 seconds.
It's Westy and Mundorf who get the assist 21 seconds in, and it's the Wings back up top 6-5. A back-and-forth battle here at the Wells Fargo Center. The Wings would love nothing more than to clinch a playoff berth. They have not gotten consecutive playoff berths in the NLL since 2002. That was the last time it happened, a long drought for the storied franchise, the Philadelphia Wings, but they're looking to do it here. Shot and save was made by Miller. However, Toronto's able to pick the ball back up for a fresh 30. It's Billings who has it. Finds a mess in front of him. Billings falls down. Is able to flip it over to Manning. Manning shoots and scores. A lot of congestion and confusion in front of the net, and all of a sudden Manning escapes to the ball and finds a wide open space, and Toronto strikes right back. 1:07 into the fourth. It's tied up 6-6. You see the initial play happen. Billings falls down. He's just trying to get rid of it and not get caught. He flips it over to the far side and finds Blaine Manning right there, and he walks in. I tell you what, the green carpet is set right up for him. Nobody can get back, and he's able to bury it behind Brandon Miller.
Toronto goal scorer number 16, Blaine Manning. The assist number 13, Garrett Billings, and number 17, Stefan LeBlanc. Time of the goal, 1 minute, 7 seconds.
1:07, Toronto strikes back to tie it up 6-6. I tell you what, that's the hardest assist you'll ever get if you're Garrett Billings, as he's down and just in a desperation heave is able to find his man. Toronto wins the faceoff. Belton now has the ball. Quiet day from him, as here's another shot and a score! back-to-back goals for Toronto. Josh Sanderson gets the hat trick, and now it's the Rock back in the lead, 7-6. Backbreaker for the Wings as, again, a break the other way. Hoare sets up Belton, and Belton finds Sanderson breaking right down Broadway. He's able to put it up top, 7-6. 44-33 shots on goal, and I tell you what, offensive momentum can sometimes come in bursts, and we've seen it here for Toronto.
Toronto goal scored by number 19, Josh Sanderson. The assist number 87, Kyle Belton, and number 44, Stephen Hoare. Time of the goal, 1 minute and 22 seconds.
So back-to-back quick goals for Toronto. They win the face-off with room to run. Now here's a shot saved, mate. Actually, no save. It goes wide. Loose ball can't be picked up, but Manley takes out Kyle Belton's stick. Ball fought for. White picks it up. Now Merrill runs the other way. Merrill does not have numbers with him, but he'll take the shot anyway and hits the crossbar. Oh, Brody Merrill nearly tied it up there, but he finds the upper right-hand corner of the crossbar. Toronto fans breathe a sigh of relief. It remains 7-6. Full Wings offense out in the field now, with Hall, Crowley, Rabel, far side, and Westervelt, and now Ross is out there as well. Crowley picks up the ball, 12 in the shot clock. Good screen put out there as, boy, Westervelt really took out a man. Buchanan picks up the ball. Only 5 on the clock, though. Ross is going to have to take it. One-timer to Westervelt. Bounce shot save goes in low on Ross. Didn't really get the full cannon behind it, and Rose is able to make that save. And so Toronto comes back up the field, enjoying a 1-goal lead. Line change him now complete for Toronto. Garrett Billings has it up top. Now Billings kicks over far side to LeBlanc. Loses control of the ball, however. Ned Karate picks it back up from Philadelphia. He's checked down. That shot goes to his head, but the referee says play on, boys. Not been a lot of penalty calls in this matchup. Very physical game. Rabel moves inside. Beautiful pass to Heim. Oh, it bounced like a pinball in between the legs of Nick Rose. He's somehow able to control that one. Beautiful pass by Rabel. Thought he was going to initially take the shot, but Heim was wide open on the left-hand side, and Heim's shot bounced literally, it almost tilted the pinball machine left, right, in between the knees, but did not go back into the net. Over to Manning, near side. 11:48 to go here in the fourth. 7-6 Toronto. Gets it over to Sanderson, but no room to shoot it. Now pass over to Hellier. He'll have to kick it back up top to Billings. 5 on the shot clock to Doyle. Doyle passes inside, unable to control. 2-1, and the shot clock will expire. Good job by the Wings defense standing up tall right there. And now it's the Wings who will come back the other way. It's Sweeney. Sweeney brings it up across the timeline, passes over to Mundorf. You're talking about the playoffs, and yes, Toronto's already clinched, but it's all about the team who's hot going into the playoffs. And we've seen a much different Wings team here over the last 2 games, over Minnesota and in this one. Buchanan pass in the slot intended for McClellan, but Wings are able to control the rebound. 4-3, Rabel shoots it, goes wide, and with that's going to come a shot clock violation. Jesse Gamble pushes the action back up the floor for the Rock. Steve Holmes working on him. Gamble and Holmes tied up at midfield. Kicks it over to Bierns near side as Gamble will finally come off, and they'll get the 5th offensive member out there. Garrett Billings, his helmet breaks, and he's actually got to come off. Here's a shot that's saved, made by Miller. Billings has to come off the floor. He's having an equipment problem. So they get an additional member out there, back 5-on-5. Fresh 30 for the Rock, however, off that save. Here's a shot that's saved, made by Miller, goes low. He scoops up the loose ball and is able to flip it over to the captain, Brody Merrill. 46-36 shots on goal in favor of the Toronto Rock, but it's only a 1-goal game. Merrill flips over to Jordan Hall. Up top to Ross. Ross will come down low, and now Hall will move up top. Ross thinks about firing there, but instead pulls it back to Rabel. 10 on the shot clock. Approaching 10 minutes to go here in the fourth. Westervelt now shoots it. It goes wide. He beat Rose, but just put it wide. 2-1. Ross gets a shot off. It actually does hit Nick Rose, but the rebound comes right to the Rock. Sandy Chapman's able to pick that ball up, and he's able to get it over to White. Chris White with the ball. He dumps it off. Transition play. He comes over to Rob Hellier. Garrett Billings with it, with traffic in front of him. Billings now into the slot. Doyle can't control the pass. Good loose ball pick up by Crotty. 2-on-1 for the Wings. Crotty moving in. Hartzell to his right. Here's a shot and score! Kyle Hartzell does it again, back-to-back weeks with breakaway goals. And now with 9:26 to go in the fourth, tie ball game 7-7. I tell you what, Ned Crotty is the forward in that situation. He does the loose ball work and transition work, breaks it up the field, and he has Hartzell right over to his right-hand side and is able to flip it in between the legs, and it's a tie game 7-7. What a shot.
Goal scorer number 81, Kyle Hartzell. The assist number 22, Ned Crowdy. Time of the goal, 5:34.
What a shot by Hartzell. What a play by Crotty, and we need immediate timeout. 9:25 to go in the fourth. It's a tie game, 7-7. We're back after this. This is the NLL on the Lacrosse Network. 9:26 remaining in quarter number 4. The Wings have tied it up now 7-7. Dave Walls here at the Wells Fargo Center. Fans, NLL Radio offers the best online radio coverage of the National Lacrosse League. Did you know you can listen to NLL Radio now on your smartphone? Of course you do. But if you didn't, where have you been? You just download the popular TuneIn Radio app. That's TuneIn, like tune and in. There you go, TuneIn Radio app. And you find NLL Radio under the More Sports section. That's what you want. You want more sports. You listen to great shows from around the league playing on a continuous loop. They're all there, including our brand new show, Wings All Access. You can also visit NLL.com/radio and listen to the show at any time you'd like. It's all right there for you. NLL Radio on NLL.com/radio. Dave Walls here from the Wells Fargo Center. I tell you what, we've got a lot of energy in this building in April, and I got to tell you, as a longtime fan of the league, that certainly hasn't happened in a while. Ned Crotty getting the breakaway goal, getting the breakaway assist, and setting up Kyle Hartzell back-to-back weeks for number 81. He gets the goal there and ties it up 7-7. Shots on goal still favor the Rock, 46-38. But it's the Wings who have tied it up 7-7. Been in a very exciting matchup as we go down to the field. This good Saturday crowd. I tell you what, again, this crowd has been unbelievable today. Really fired up, looking to see their Wings clinch a playoff berth here in the home regular season finale. Wings off the reset. Here's a shot by Mundorf. Save made by Rose, but an even better scoop as Ross was right on the doorstep to scoop up any loose rebounds. Toronto's quickly going to come back up the other way. Stephen Hoare, 3-on-2 for Toronto. Good play made by the captain, Brody Merrill. Got the stick in the way of that pass. And now Toronto's going to have to reset with the full offensive unit. Every play so important now as we're under 9 minutes to go here in the fourth. Billings with the ball, 7 on the shot clock. Far side. Now up top to Billings. Dekes inside and moves. Shoots. Save. I think that one went off the face mask of Brandon Miller. He controls it. Good play by Manny to outlet it over to Kyle Sweeney, and now it's the Wings who come back out on offense. Rabel showed a little bit more confidence here in the second half with some of the choices he's making. He's really come alive here in the second. Westervelt and Crowley out there as well. Now sets up Ross. Beautiful one-timer shot, just goes wide. Acrobatic play by Edwards made, and now a 2-on-1 breakaway for Toronto. Here's Edwards, moves in, shoots and scores! Damon Edwards turns on the Jets and fires at 5-hole. Toronto back out in the lead, 8-7. Tell you what, Edwards does it all, getting the acrobatic jumping rebound, and now fires the low carpet burner in between the legs of Brandon Miller here. As you take a look here, actually, it was more of a bounce shot between the legs, but still, Edwards with room to crank it up, and he fires it low, gives Toronto the lead.
Toronto goal scorer by number 45, Damon Edwards. Unassisted at 6:48.
At 6:48, Toronto back up top, 8-7. Shots on goal, 48-39. That's Toronto who wins the faceoff. Jesse Gamble has the ball. Now he flips it off. A little bit of confusion on Toronto as they're trying to figure out their 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got them all out in the field now. Colin Doyle, the captain, out there with Billings. Hellier is near side. LeBlanc and Sanderson are in the slot. Doyle flips it over to Billings. 8 on the shot clock. Billings rolling. Flips it over to Doyle with 4, 3. He'll have to shoot it. 2, 1. I don't think Doyle knows the shot clock is where it is. He fires it, but it was too late. Shot clock violation against the Toronto Rock. And now Philadelphia pushes the ball back up the floor as the captain, Brody Merrill, gets it up and across the timeline. Fires it over to Buchanan. Merrill looks like he'll stay out there. No, he'll come off in transition. Brendan Mundorf holds the ball. Westervelt's back in the net, drawing attention. Here's Rabel moving in, shooting, and score! It's actually Kevin Crowley, but it doesn't matter. Crowley buries it in the back of the net, and the Wings have tied it up again, 8-8. Westervelt drew attention by standing in front of the net, and somehow Crowley was able to walk in. Defensive breakdown by the Toronto Rock leads to the tying goal, and the big guy finally notches his first goal on the day, and the Wings fans celebrate another tie score. The 40th Philadelphia shot leads to goal number 8, and Crowley's 32nd on the season.
Goal scorer number 10, Kevin Crowley. Assist number 2, Brendan Mundorf, and number 27, Kevin Buchanan. Time of the goal, 7:42.
Crowley's 32nd of the season, tying game 8-8. It's the Rock who win the face-off. As you still see the replay, Crowley was just able to walk in on that far side. That's unbelievable to me that Toronto would allow that to happen, but Crowley will take advantage of that every time. Billings has the ball near side with 8 on the shot clock. Tries to flip it into the slot. No dice. Ball still loose on the turf. Philadelphia with numbers the other way. 2-on-1. Great play by Brett Manny to scoop that up. He was able to beat a double team. Does it there again in order to get the Wings offense back out in the field. Buchanan has the ball. Good pressure being put on by Toronto. Crowley is now fresh off the bench, and he gets it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very close play. Philadelphia almost had too many men on the field, but they're able to do that. Jordan Hall, near side. Draws some heat. Now here's Buchanan trying to flip it in back of the net, but to Hall. Now near side. Nice deke by Westervelt. However, steps on the crease line in the middle of that deking, so a crease violation by Westy. Turnover Philadelphia. Now approaching 6 minutes to go in regulation. Tied up 8-8. Philadelphia wins, clinching a playoff berth. Toronto wins, number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. Hellier has the ball rolling left to right to Billings. Creeping in now back up top to Doyle with room. He shoots, save made by Miller. Ball gets stuck in the knee pads, and he's able to kick it out and make the save. Hartzell with the ball. He holds. Wings getting their offense out on the field. He's now able to flip it over. Rabel with the ball, working one-on-one. Now to Mundorf. Mundorf with room. Oh, Rose just got a piece of that one. Rabel can't control the rebound. Ball still loose on the turf. However, Rabel's able to accelerate and get the rebound. What an individual effort that time by Paul Rabel. Looked like Toronto was in a position to pick it up, and Rabel comes out of nowhere to scoop that. Buchanan draws the double team. However, goes down low. Here's Mundorf. Shoots. Score! Brendan Mundorf, goal number 2. Wings back in the lead, 9-8. A beautiful play set up by Kevin Buchanan, drawing the double team. Mundorf was alone on the doorstep, and nobody from Toronto moves. He's right there and is able to dump it in between the legs and give the Wings the lead back, 9-8. How much did this Wings team miss Brendan Mundorf on the left-hand side? His second of the day, only number 5 on the season, but you'll see the replay coming up here.
Score number 2, Brendan Mundorf. It's just number 27, Kevin Buchanan, and number 19, Mike McClellan. Time of the goal, 9:40.
Buchanan and McClellan both set it up, and that is Kevin Buchanan. Let's make that clear, but it's the Wings back up top, 9-8. Shots on goal, 49-42 for the Rock, but is the Wings controlling the most important category, 9-8. We're headed to another close finish here as Toronto has the ball with 8 on the shot clock, picked up by Bearns. Up top to Billings, behind the back flip. However, it nearly rolled into the net as Miller lost sight of it briefly, but he's able to get it out. Philadelphia gets the ball up and across to Sweeney. Sweeney over to Crowley, far side, is holding the ball, waiting for some help. Now he's got Hall and Ross out there. Mundorf streaking in back of the net. Said it's Ross up top. Ross draws the double team, flip over to Hall. Hall shoots, right shoulder pad saved by Rose. Pickup made by Toronto. They break the other way with Rob Marshall. Marshall brings it up and across the timeline. Media timeout coming at the next dead ball. 51-42, shots on goal. To Hellier. Hellier has it, rolls to the slot. Now far side, shot save made by Miller. Big rebound, however, gets the stick on it and able to make the save. And as that save is made, we have our last media timeout. Do not go anywhere. This one's going down to the wire. 4:01 left to go. Period number 4. The Wings 9, the Rock 8. This is the NLL on the Lacrosse Network.
I mean, are we kidding me right now? Do you really think that you being on a phone and not listening to me is going to help?
A 1-goal lead over the Toronto Rock fans. This copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League. Fans, don't forget another full schedule of action in the NLL this weekend. More games to come tonight on the Lacrosse Network. In fact, we've got 3 more games all taking place out west, I believe. Yes, as Minnesota at Colorado at 9 o'clock, Rochester at Calgary at 9 o'clock, all these times Eastern, and Buffalo at Washington as Buffalo tries to stave off elimination. Of course, if the Wings win today, I believe Buffalo would be eliminated, but certainly the situation very dire in Bandit Land. One afternoon game tomorrow out at Rexall Place in Edmonton as it's the Rochester Nighthawks and the Edmonton Rush. That one 4 p.m. Eastern, all here on the Lacrosse Network. Lots of action still to go here in this one. 52-42 shots on goal. It's the favoring the Rock, but it's the Wings clinging to a 9-8 lead. Looking down the score sheet, leading scorer for the Wings, Brendan Mundorf, 2 goals, 3 assists. Paul Rabel, 1 and 2. Kevin Crowley with a goal and an assist as well. Drew Westervelt with 1 assist. Kevin Buchanan, 4 points on the night, 2 and 2 for him. Kyle Hartzell, Jordan Hall, and Mike Manley all with goals tonight. For the Toronto Rock, it's been Josh Sanderson with the hat trick. Everybody else has 1. Doyle with 1 and 2. Blaine Manning with 1. Bearns 1 and 1. And Damon Edwards 1 and 1. Belton and Rob Hellier all have assists. Hellier with 3 and Billings with 2. Philadelphia has the ball as we come back to action. Rabel rolling through traffic, turning on the Jets. Now is able to hit Buchanan. Now over into the slot. Here's a shot. Oh, it bounced off Rose and then hit the post. Toronto catches a breather there as Rose got just enough of it to knock it into the post. Edwards streaks back the other way. Miscommunication. Miller came out of his net, but jumps back in and makes the save. Miller thought he could make a play on the ball for some reason, came out, and that almost allowed a slam dunk goal for Toronto, but Miller was able to get back and get into position. So now Philadelphia with a 1-goal lead will take some time off of this clock. 14 on the shot clock, 3:15 to go in regulation. To Ross, up top. Beats his man one-on-one, flips it though far side. Wasn't able to get a real good shot on it now. And now here comes Toronto breaking the other way. Wings are able to get back defensively, so Patrick Merrill will have to hold on to that and let the Toronto offense come back out on the field. Under 3 minutes to go in regulation. 9-8 your score as Brendan Mundorf has just put the Wings back into the lead. Doyle flips it over far side to LeBlanc. LeBlanc one-on-one with Manny. Now Billings of room. He shoots. Miller just gets a piece of it and knocks it wide. However, fresh 30 for Toronto's are able to pick up the loose ball. And back of the net. Billings rolls around, now flips it over to Manning. Manning comes up top, still 20 full seconds on the shot clock, 2.5 in regulation. It's Billings. No, it's Doyle who has it on the far side. Pardon me. Doyle just can't find any room. Now escapes a little bit. 9 on the shot clock. Man's knocked down. Illegal screen called against Toronto as Mike Manley bit the turf that time. So now Philadelphia brings it back up here, and if you get under 2 minutes, we'll start have to watching Nick Rose to see if he's going to come off for any extra attacker situation. Toronto did that at the end of the first half. We're unable to convert. Mundorf has the ball checked away beautifully by Sandy Chapman. Is able to pick it back up, but he's tied up in the near side corner. Now Mundorf breaks free. 10 on the shot clock. Up top to Westervelt. Westervelt fires over to Mundorf. Mundorf with a hot hand. Shoots. Bounce shot save made by Rose. He dives down low, and now Rose will finally tie it up as we're under 2 minutes to go here in regulation. Under 2 minutes. Rose staying in net for right now. Toronto showing confidence in their offense, leaving the netminder in. Billings holds the ball up top. Now under 90 seconds as Billings rolls in. Shot saved, made by Miller. Rebound comes to Buchanan, and now here come the Wings back the other way. Sweeney picks up the loose ball. Sweeney will pull back. And this should get the ball game under 1 minute to go as Philadelphia clings 9-8 over the Rock. A Wings win secures a playoff berth. And now we have a whistle, stoppage of play, and I believe we're getting a penalty against Philadelphia. They got caught. Too many men on the field. Too many men on the field with a minute 12 left to go, and Toronto is going to get a power play. And actually, I believe we're going to get a penalty shot. Hold on, we got to see what's going on here. I'm going to wait for an official call here because I've seen a couple different signals that have been a little misleading to me, so I apologize to you, the viewer. I just want to make sure I understand what's going on here. So we have a stoppage of play, 1:12.
Bench monitor for too many men. Since the foul occurs under 2 minutes, will be a penalty shot to the Toronto Rock.
So the penalty shot does come to the Rock, and what an opportunity for Toronto. This is going to be as good as it gets for the Rock. It'll be Casey Behrens taking it against Brandon Miller. 1-0. 1:12 to go here in the fourth. The Wings fans coming to their feet. The Toronto Rock fans in attendance coming to their feet. Behrens picks it up. Here he goes. He comes near side. Casey Behrens working in. Here's the shot and score. Penalty shot, goal, good by Casey Behrens, and the Rock tie it up 9-9. As you see here on the replay, he got Miller to dive low, and he buries it top shelf into the corner. And with 1:12 to go, the Rock have tied it up 9-9. They stay alive in this game. Heim and Merrill set to face off at center field. Head referee Mark Gardonio has the ball, holding it, waiting for the television crew to come back as we take one more look at it here on the in-arena monitors. But Gardonio pulls the ball down. 13:48, and now Toronto wins the faceoff. Gamble runs in. They had a man breaking the far side as well in LeBlanc, but Gamble elects to hold the ball. As we're under 1 minute to go here in the fourth. Billings takes the shot high, save made by Miller. Loose rebound comes to the near side corner. Initially comes to Billings. Billings picks it up. Fresh shot clock for Toronto. Toronto looking to clinch the number 1 overall seed in the playoffs. They get it to Doyle, the captain. Rolls into the slot. Near side. Billings, here's the shot saved by Miller. Can't control the rebound. Heim's out there fighting for it as well as Billings. Wings finally pick it back up. They've got the ball. Johnny Meridian's calling for a timeout. Nobody hears him. Wings are running up the field to Merrill. Shot saved made by Nick Rose. Merrill's laid out. Wings desperately trying to call a timeout. Now they finally do. 17.7 seconds left to go. Brody Merrill gets knocked down on the play. A little slow to get up. Meridian was calling for the timeout even as the fast break was coming down the field, but the Wings on a 2-on-1 break decided to take their chances. The shot was saved, made by Rose, and then finally when Philadelphia picked up the loose ball rebound, they were able to take it. So 17.7 seconds left to go. The Wings are going to basically get last ball here, and they've pulled Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is now on the bench, so the Wings are going to hold for a last shot and try to win this one. How crazy would that be if we had another last-second goal against the Toronto Rock? You'll recall back in Week 3, Philadelphia was able to win 8-7 over the Rock up at Air Canada Center as Drew Westervelt was able to bury a wraparound shot with under 10 seconds left to go here. Dance cam is underway here. In fact, even the CBS television crew showing the highlight of the Drew Westervelt wraparound goal to end it, that wild and crazy 8-7 game. As here it comes and boom. Oh, yeah, I know you can't see what we just saw, but you know the play I'm talking about, everybody. Shots on goal, 57-46. Toronto tying it up with 1:12 in regulation on a penalty shot to Casey Behrens. Wings, I tell you what, as we look at the whole game, Philadelphia has battled too many men penalties the last couple of weeks. They should have gotten called one realistically earlier in the fourth quarter. Wings briefly had 6 players on the field, were able to pull it back. And here we go. Game underway now under 10 seconds, 6-on-5 for the Wings. Far side to Westerveld, up top to Crowley, room to shoot, save made by Rose. Oh, it almost rolls in back of him, and the clock ends, and we are going to overtime. Now sticks come up. In fact, the official gets hit with a stick as well. Ross is in there as well, some pushing and shoving on both sides as Patrick Merrill out there for Toronto as well. But what it comes down to, we're going to OT. 57-47 shots on goal. 4 quarters of action, can't decide it. We're going to OT. Sudden death when we come back, 9-9. This is the NLL on the Lacrosse Network. We're going to overtime. The Wings and the Rock are knotted up at 9 here at the Wells Fargo Center. Hi, fans. Dave Walls here. I want to thank you for spending overtime with us here on the Lacrosse Network. Fans, don't forget that, hey, there's much more action to come here on the Lacrosse Network. In fact, later today, I told you we got a triple header of action with more games coming up later tonight, East Coast time. We've got Minnesota out at Colorado at the Loud House at 9, Rochester at Calgary at 9, and Buffalo and Washington at 10 o'clock Eastern. One Saturday matinee as Rochester and Edmonton will battle at 4 o'clock. Toronto Rock already hosting a home playoff game, and should they win tonight, they'll have home field advantage for the entire playoffs. If the Wings win today, they're in the playoffs. That's all they care about at this point. Clinch, you're in. Of course, if the Wings lose, they can still clinch a playoff berth if Buffalo loses tonight at Washington. That game at 10 o'clock right here on the Lacrosse Network. But certainly, we've got much more action here as the Wings get burned by a too many men on the field penalty. Casey Behrens is able to ice home the penalty shot with 1:12 left to go, and the Wings had a pretty good scoring opportunity. It's what they wanted. Kevin Crowley in the slot with traffic. Rose made the initial save. Ball rolled loose in back of him, but Jesse Gamble was there to get the stick back for Toronto. So we're getting ready to set to go again, fans. Overtime in the NLL, sudden death. First goal wins, and that's it. That's how it goes here. Wells Fargo Center crowd being treated to an outstanding game. Also to everybody over at CBS Sports Network, thank you so much for broadcasting this one as well. To our international fans, I know you're out there watching. We've had people watching the Wings Army all season from Belgium, from London. We even had someone tweet me a couple weeks ago from Japan, and we thank you so much for spreading the game around the world here at the National Lacrosse League. Well, as the warm-up periods are basically over with, we're going to have a face-off here in just a moment. Toronto will be going left to right. And now, with face-offs becoming so important, we'll take a look at the updated stats here and try to give you a face-off percentage. As you'll remember, Wings fans, C.J. Costabile and Jeff Reynolds both scratched from today's lineup due to injuries and illness. And so the Wings really didn't have a good face-off percentage in the second half. They were 40% at halftime. They've fallen down to 33%. Paul Rabel's gone 1 for 5. Pat Hine is going 6 for 16 on the face-off. So certainly this face-off, though, very, very important. Again, in a sudden death situation, or first possession could win it all. There's no such thing as, pick the field goal and maybe the other team gets a shot. Not the way it works here in the NLL. Barry won, and it is all over. Face-off won. It is won by the Wings. Hine is knocked down brutally on the play. Should have been a loose ball violation. Brody Merrill out there fighting for it. He's now knocked down on the bench. And now Toronto's going to go ahead and pick it back up. Fans at the Wells Fargo Center wanted some sort of loose ball violation called. They won't get it, but Toronto has the ball as they bring it up across the timeline. Sudden death overtime, clock inconsequential at this point. We play till someone scores. Manning has the ball up top. 9-9 your score in OT. Next goal wins it. Stephen LeBlanc, near side. Now rolling into the slot. However, we have an illegal screen as player knocked down from Philadelphia. So a turnover for Toronto, and now here come the Wings up the field. They score. They're in the playoffs. Drew Westervelt. Up top to Buchanan is welcome to the jungle. Plays in the Wells Fargo Center to Mundorf. He rolls into the slot and shoots. It goes wide. However, the rebound picked up by Drew Westervelt is able to fight off good pressure by Cam Woods. Is able to hit a man in the slot. It's Jordan Hall. Shoots and scores! Jordan Hall scores! The Philadelphia Wings win it in overtime. 10-9, and the Wings are back in the playoffs. Back-to-back seasons for the Wings in the playoffs for the first time since 2002. The Wings bench empties. They celebrate at midfield as Jordan Hall buries it. 101 in overtime. The Wings win it 10-9. What resilience these Wings have shown late in the season. Coming off a 5-game losing streak, these claw back and beat a feisty Minnesota Swarm team 15-13, and now hold the Eastern Division champions down and defeat them on their home field 10-9. The Wings win it. As you take a look at the replay, here comes Westervelt, is able to somehow get it over to Hall. He does a nice spin move around Gamble and buries it. Now, we do want to mention that the referees are looking at this one down in the booth. It's overtime. They will have to determine if Hall stepped in the crease. We're taking a look here at the monitors. Initial ruling on the field is a goal. So we have to see what happened. You see Hall. They're not showing the replay here in the arena. Hall appears to be in midair. That's going to be a good goal. That's going to be a good goal for Jordan Hall as he goes airborne well before the crease. Yeah, the left foot comes down, but it's a good 2-3 inches at back of the crease as the teams are actually waiting to shake hands in center field. But Mark Ardonio is taking a good hard look, and hey, with the playoff berth on the line, why wouldn't you do that? I completely understand the reasoning. And now referee Gardonio comes out of the box. This will make it official, and it is a goal. The 48th shot of the game leads to the overtime winner. What a play by Jordan Hall. And it's the University of Delaware prodigy, Jordan Hall, buries it. And I tell you what, he has been the man to get it done. You'll recall in Buffalo back earlier in the season, it's Jordan Hall who tied it up with 4 seconds left to go and was able to send that game to overtime where Westervelt got the game winner there. But today it's Jordan Hall who gets the props as the Wings take their victory lap. We will take a breather, and when we come back, we'll recap some stats. But really, what does it matter? What a game by both teams. Really, really was. 10-9 your score. Time here in the regular season. I tell you what, if you're a Wings fan, there's no better way to close out the regular season than with a game like this. Truly, this is one that Wings fans are going to remember for a long time. The Wings faced the Eastern Division champion, Toronto Rock, who came in here and they wanted that number one home field advantage all the way to the championship game. Not only did the Wings deny that, they clinched their own playoff berth with an overtime winner, 10-9. Let's go ahead and we'll run down the stat sheet here for you. As, boy, stats, I hate to say stats are inconsequential because, of course, they play a large part in what we talk about, what we do, but the emotion of this game still running high here in the Wells Fargo Center. Let's first go to the visiting Toronto Rock. Leading goal scorer Josh Sanderson on the day, the hat trick on him, but he had a quiet second half, as I believe all those goals coming in the first. No, I take that back. 2 in the first half and 1 in the fourth, so I apologize, Josh, but he gets the hat trick on the day. Colin Doyle, 1 goal and 2 assists, the captain there. Garrett Billings shut out on the day, just 2 assists for him. Rob Hellier with 3 assists. Blaine Manning with a goal. LeBlanc only with 1 assist. Again, we saw some of the goal scorers for Toronto step up as they always do, but really inconsistent scoring effort from them. Damon Edwards of 1-on-1, and should be noted Casey Behrens, 2 goals and assists. That last goal, of course, being the penalty shot goal to tie it up with 1:12 left to go in the fourth. For the Philadelphia Wings, leading goal scorer Brendan Bundorf. Boy, what a game for him to start getting hot in. 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points on the day for Brendan. Paul Rabel, 1 goal and 2 assists as well. Much more confidence shown from Paul. He seems to be a bit of a slow starter where once he gets that confidence going, then he's able to start kicking it into action. We saw a much different second half out of Paul Rabel than we saw in the first half. 1 and 2 for him. Kevin Crowley, 1 and 1 on the day. Brody Merrill, the captain, 3 assists. We had assists as well from Mike McClellan and Ned Crotty. Kevin Buchanan, great game from him. 2 goals, 2 assists. Westervelt was shut out on the day, did get 2 assists, but it was other players like Jordan Hall getting 2 goals, and of course, the big one, the overtime winner there, Kyle Hartzell also getting another breakaway, and Mike Manley. Both Manley and Hartzell go back-to-back weeks with breakaway goals, so good for those guys. Another good goaltending battle. Nick Rose takes the loss, 38 saves for him, not enough for the day. And what else can you say about Brandon Miller that we haven't been saying all season? 48 saves for B. Mills. He goes over 4,000 career saves, and what a great stat for what a great goaltender and a great guy as well. Face-off circle tonight. Toronto wins that battle. They go 67%, winning 14 of 21 on the day. Paul Rabel and Pat Heim win 33%. As this is the last home game in the regular season, don't know if I'll be able to talk to you guys again here on the Lacrosse Network until next season. I do want to extend my sincere thanks to the National Lacrosse League for allowing me to broadcast such a tremendous sport, and I can't wait for the playoffs, can't wait for the draft, I can't wait for next season. I want to come back next week and do it again, but it's all been a great ride this season, and I can't wait for the playoffs to come, and I can't wait again for next season. I also want to thank my producer, John Barchard, for his tremendous work on the broadcast this season. Coming on board the team, I tell you what, John has been a workhorse, and I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much, John. Also, my thanks to Commissioner George Daniel and Vice President Communications, Doug Fritz, for his support and faith in the broadcast as well. And to you, the NLL fans who have been following on Twitter, watching the broadcast, and telling your friends about it, it has been a great treat for me to be able to interact with you and share our love of this game. And again, I thank you for a great regular season. Can't wait for the postseason. Follow me on Twitter at Dave Walls. Let's start this conversation going, because if the Wings are on the road, guess what? I'm a fan, and I'm rooting right alongside of you. For everybody here at the Wells Fargo Center, my name is Dave Walls. Thank you so much for a great 2013 home regular season. Again, your final score, Philadelphia wins it in overtime, clinching a playoff berth, 10-9 over the Toronto Rock. Until next time, we'll say so long, everybody, from the Wells Fargo Center. Good night.